imminent. Hello. Super low, he says. I'm gonna pump my shit up here. Hello. Hello, everybody. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, sound check. Yeah, man, almost. Almost. These are flamingos. Crystal clear, that's nice. Okay, everybody, we've got 3 minutes left. Today, we have to talk about some news. It seems that one of the diggers in the old camp has fallen into a crevice in the old mine. Unfortunately, the pal is dead. No worries though, we get a new arrangement of people who will be digging in the mines next Saturday. By the way, rations will be shortened due to the lack of engagement by the king. Well, if you want to go to the new camp, go now. Okay. Okay, let me just handle this. Louder! Hello, everybody. Hello. Hello. Oh, boy, I'm almost clipping here. Almost clipping. Hello. I'm clipping. Hear ye, inhabitants of Corinus. Okay. Okay. There he is. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Okay, I gotta read the chat a little bit. So, Cyrus, you got spoiled from the Rotterdam Gothic stream party. Oh, I feel bad for you. Don't tell me though, yeah. Brother, I've bought the collector's edition. I have the box here, but I won't be able to play it on June 5th because I'll be on vacation for 2 weeks. Oh my god, damage hero. That is unfortunate. I feel you. Okay. Landros, again, I repeat myself, like in the last live stream, cautiously optimistic but hyped. The days of being hyped are over for me. You know, it's just a thing. But yeah, I feel good about it though. I feel good, as you can see. Right about soon. Not yet. Okay. Okay. Dark Hollow. I'm deeply into Path of Exile 2, but I still stopped playing to dive into Gothic 1 Remake once it launches. Also got to take a break for the Summer Games Fest after playing for a few hours. The last few weeks I was into Diablo 4. I really like the Diablo franchise, and I always thought hey, you gotta play that shit, but only if the Paladin class will be available. You know, so I didn't play on release, and this is my first season right now, and it's cool, it's cool. I wanted to get into PoE, but, well... Okay, let's get back to the topic. We got 6 PM now. This shit is officially starting right now. Again, welcome everybody. Lots of new people, but also people that I've known for quite some time. Landros, for example. So about the hype. I think under other circumstances, in terms of health, I would be hyped by now. I definitely would be hyped. But there is also this 35-year-old man sitting here, and I'm a little bit I'm a little bit skeptic. Somewhat of a skeptic, you know, when it comes to having high hopes and stuff. I always expect nothing, so I get positively surprised by anything. In some cases, well, even that won't really happen. 5 days. Yeah. That's right. That's about right. 5 days. Oh my god. Time's running, man. Damage Hero says he's still playing Returning 2.0 alternative balance, by the way. 5 years in, still can't finish the damn game because I'm playing Nightmare Plus and no death. This mod, man. I'm not a big fan of it. But let's get to the topic of today. So, as you can see, we are going to talk about shit. We are going to talk about Gothic.
The game, like,
oh, before I start here. We will be looking at a few videos today. One is a little bit older. Hey, greetings to the UK, man. VHS, Dreams official. Nice to have you here, boy. Okay, so nowadays we will talk about nowadays. Look at me. Today we'll be looking at 3 videos, which will be... Oh, no. This is back to Warcraft. Oh, okay. We will be looking a little bit at Hand of Blood, because some people in my last stream, they told me about this this one in particular having some troubles with the AI. This is obviously going 3 hours. We're not going to watch all of it, and I won't play sound since I can't get it to translate to German, which is very sad. Very, very sad. Even if I go for auto-translate, the brother doesn't care. It's a little German coming out of me. The brother. Okay. So, if you're ready, you're ready. Maybe just a little bit of sound, okay. Once again, this is Hand of Blood. He made some nice Gothic streams back in the day. And they were very, very successful. Obviously, he's dying right now. Oh, wait a second, wait a second. Wait a second. Landros, my man. He's telling me those troubles with AI in Hand of Blood's video have already been fixed and proven as such in the latest combat making of. I didn't know that. Okay. So, we've got 2 other videos to take a look at, and then after that we can talk. So, I think it just makes most sense to take a look at the official combat system then, because I didn't know about this. These days I'm rarely on the official Discord, so these type of information, this type of information is very elusive to me. So, fuck that. Thank you, Hand of Blood, for a little peek. I will mute the music, and then we will take a look at the combat system. Making of number 6. Let's go. You know if it's too loud or too low, the sound. Let me know. Oh no. Zombies. Okay. Okay. Parsifal. Hello, my man. Okay, that looked actually pretty awesome so far. Ah, the old barracks.
We felt that the original combat system was unique, something that is easy to pick up and learn, and something that gives you a lot of possibilities to extend on, like with progression. And we felt like these are the perfect parameters to build a new combat system on. So we set out to like just take some dummy animations for like sword fighting and try to build a system around using the directions and being able to control them. There was a lot of doubt about it initially, because nowadays combat systems are following the Souls formula, so there's like 2 or 3 type of attacks, like a light attack, a heavy attack, and a special attack, stuff like that. And we felt like that wouldn't do justice to an RPG that is very progression-based. And very quickly, like after...
Okay, let me stop him here right now. Okay, I actually do think that he's right. Some people might shake their head when they hear, you know, oh, the Gothic combat system is easy to pick up on. I think what many people confuse about Gothic, the original, when you play it for the first time, and I'm not even talking about, you know, the Gothic 2 control scheme, but the original one. It's very confusing how to use certain items. You always have to click like action and then forward to use it, which is very confusing. Why do you have this type of shortcut, right? And I think this is something separate. You know, these are like main controls, and then there is the combat controls. But the combat controls, again, that they work in a very similar manner. You have your action button, which is you know, the mouse left click, and then you strike with your WHSD keys, either forward for the combos or left and right, or you want to parry with S. It is a very unique thing, and I always loved it because it made so much sense once you get into it. As a veteran, of course, you don't have problems with it, but that was one of my initial wishes, I think, already like back in the day, that you have the directional combat. I really like it. It's very unique. Reinhard Pollice mentions that nowadays many games use the Dark Souls formula. Sure, everybody wants to copy the master because the combat is pretty great, but the question is, you know, you've got a combat like Dark Souls. Does it work with other titles? I doubt that it would work in Gothic, because I think I don't know much. I don't know anything about game development, but if you can take a look at the hitboxes right now, in Dark Souls, the hitboxes are very precise, I want to say. I played the game for some hours, also Elden Ring, and they are all building up on this massive rig, you know, like the same mechanics, I want to say. And there is a lot of work going into the fights. The question is, can AA titles like the Gothic remake also work in this capacity on such a combat system? I don't expect such a combat system that is so detailed, so highly detailed and so precise, like from the Souls game. I don't expect that to be taking place in Gothic. I just don't. And therefore, I really do like that they went back. They got inspired by the old combat system, and now they made something new. What is a good combat system, you might ask? I don't even know. I would probably cite Gothic because I really dig it. Some people might say, oh, The Witcher 3. Dude, I love The Witcher 3. But looking at it just through the eyes of, you know, if you just take a look at your keyboard and your mouse, what you're doing when you're fighting, it's basically just left clicking. It's a little simple, you know, and I think Gothic is way more reliant on your mechanical skills on the keyboard, on your reactions. So I think it's a middle ground between Dark Souls and a very fluent, almost self-playing combat style like in other games. I don't want to cite Witcher 3 to be one of those, but I don't know. So, chat. I should go back on the orc scene.
We felt that the original combat system was unique, something that is easy to pick up and learn, and something that gives you a lot of possibilities to extend on, like with progression. And we felt like these are the perfect parameters to build a new combat system on. So we set out to like just take some dummy animations for like sword fighting and try to build a system around using the directions and being able to control them. There was a lot of doubt about it initially because nowadays combat systems are following the Souls formula, so there's like 2 or 3 type of attacks, like a light attack, a heavy attack, and a special attack, stuff like that. And we felt like that wouldn't do justice to an RPG that is very...
I gotta stop here right now because I think this was kind of important, right? You can see that the orc is kind of hesitating as they exchange blows. Right
combat systems are following the Souls formula, so there's...
Okay. So first orc falls, then the other one is intercepting, and he's bashing us for quite some time. Now he's taking, you know, a little bit of a breather. In the original, the orc would attack you relentlessly. One blow after the other, maybe strafing to the left and right and then attacking again. This one, I don't know, he stopped a little bit. Is that a game breaker for me? I gotta be honest, not really. But still I have the concerns that NPCs might not feel so aggressive like in the original.
Months we figured with this prototype, it's hard to control, and it like animations and camera and everything play a part in that and need to be perfectly aligned. But if we record our own movement and create our own cameras for that, we can create something that is very fun and rewarding.
In original Gothic, we have these kind of 2 types of weapons, 100 and 200, and there is a progression there, but the weapon from one kind behaves in the same way always. What we are aiming also is to separate them.
What the fuck? Who the fuck is Gorna Dune? But I gotta go back first. Chat is going off. There's a little bit of a discussion, and I haven't really figured out when to address all this properly. When is the time to talk about this? But I want to know something else. What do you think about the zombies?
In original Gothic, we have this kind of...
Design-wise, I like that they have... That this one is still wearing some clothes. This one is butt naked or butt naked.
2 types of weapons, 100 and 200, and there is a progression there.
But they're so thin. They're missing the whole abdomen. I don't know what's going on there. I hope there are different stages of decay. Because the zombies in the original, they looked like they were maximum like 2 or 3 weeks old. I don't know. I don't hate them. Yeah, exactly. They're varied. Yeah, so the role, I don't really care about the role. We talked a lot about this in the past. I think it's mentioned. I think it's safe to say that this is like the acrobatic skill. Which is all right. I think it fits more into a more serious environment. Yeah, that's the question, Bear Puppy, right? Is it really, should they all look like diggers, or are these older corpses, you know?
But the weapon from one kind behaves in the same way always. What we are aiming also is to separate them in 3 groups, axes, swords, and maces.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
now when a Gothic player finds a weapon, it's not just looking at the amount of damage. It's more about, okay, this match with my play style, or is the weapon I need to beat this enemy? So you will save a lot of weapons. I will use them in different situations. The idea is the player to give them the most variety and give the tools to fight against the enemies.
Uno de los problemas con los que nos enfrentamos en
Okay, just stopping real quick. I think that's a great addition to Gothic, to have another layer. It's not like overcomplicated or anything. You've got weapon types and they serve different purposes. We already saw those purposes, I think, during the Nyrus demo, where it was blunt weapon damage. Obviously, in this case, better for a golem, for example, a stone golem. And that is also something taken from the original, where the golem riddle on your way to Xardus mentions that the stone golem can only be slain with a mace-like weapon. But to have a different effect corresponding to the type of weapon that you're using, I think this is a smart decision on their part. Like, we all like Gothic for its simplicity, yes, but just adding this doesn't make the game complex, you know? It's a little bit of flavor and a little more choosing what kind of armory you want to use. And I really do like this.
combate es que en el Gothic los ataques son direccionales, ¿no? Entonces tienes que asegurarte de que el jugador va a leer bien la pose, por dónde vas a atacar, si vas a atacar arriba, a la derecha, y son ciertos aspectos que te vas encontrando, ¿no? También nos ocurre que en el combate tenemos varios niveles. Puedes tener poco nivel o tener mucho nivel, y entonces tienes que ir viendo cómo el personaje va evolucionando. Al principio atacará de una manera mucho más torpe, se tiene que notar ese nivel, ¿no? del personaje, ¿no? Que va a ir evolucionando, luego será mucho más ágil, se moverá con mucho más, un master level, ¿no? Entonces, bueno, hay que jugar un poco con que se note la diferencia entre cuando no tienes mucho nivel a cuando ya tienes más nivel. Y también otra de las cosas que ir viendo cómo el personaje va evolucionando. Al principio atacará de una manera mucho más torpe, se tiene que notar ese nivel, ¿no?
One-handed untrained, okay. As you can see, the attack speed is different for most of them. Because there's 3 videos going on, I don't really have the time to analyze, but we're trying to see that on the get-go. Okay, so sword is the fastest, followed by the axe, and maces are the slowest. Makes sense because they're really on the top when it comes to weight, right? You're holding it with 2 hands, okay. Trained, okay. I want to see the master stance.
Un poco con que se note la diferencia entre cuando no tienes mucho nivel a cuando ya tienes más nivel. Y también
okay.
Más nivel. Y también
oh shit. I can't get that frame to stop where I want it to stop.
Un master level, ¿no?
Entonces, bueno, it's very nice. Un poco con... Okay. What I don't like is the master stance differs from the other ones just like visually, but I'm really missing how they could have been inspired more by the Gothic 1 and 2 master stance, you know, where at least in the sword version the hero holds the sword like sideways to the body, which is a fantastic stance actually. When you think about it, it's like somebody's drawing that sword. It's unrealistic because you expose your whole body. But this is the mindset of a master, right? You're giving your opponent the time to strike. You make sure that your opponent thinks you're vulnerable. holding your weapon to the side. You know, because the weapon is also your defense, right? And this is there is no shields in Gothic, fortunately. So you expose your whole body, but you're fast as hell. So if there is a hit incoming, you just move hella fast and retaliate in milliseconds. However, I like what I see, and I like that there are, yeah, just these different movesets, I want to call them, because they do differ. I do like it actually a lot. I do like it a lot.
Que se note la diferencia entre.
Oh, is it really, Pansalz? I don't know about that. Yeah, Rizzo, bro, exactly, that's what's going on, right? There is the rule of cool, and we should not abandon it. You know, if you want to play like something realistic, I don't know, maybe play Kingdom Come or something, or Mordhau. I heard it was pretty realistic. Oh yeah, Bear Puppy, I know that one. Yeah, it's where the hero wears like the heavy guard armor, and he's holding a torch and he's fighting a orc. Yeah, he's blocking with a bracelet. Yeah. They call it the stance of the fool, and its purpose is to pretend to be someone who doesn't know how to use a sword, but in reality it's the port for all attacks. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Cuando no tienes mucho nivel a cuando
Okay,
tienes más nivel.
let's move on.
Y también otra de las cosas que
Oh, by the way, I can just shut that thing off.
tenemos es el tema de tener tantas armas diferentes, ¿no? No es lo mismo atacar con una espada que con un hacha o con una maza.
Oh, look at that. This is obviously the Orc Cemetery, the graveyard. Looking hella nice. It's too bright for my taste.
De dos manos, ¿no? Tú, la sensación que tienes cuando atacas va a ser muy diferente, ¿no? Con uno puede que sea mucho más pesado, te cueste mucho más atacar, y con otros pues es mucho más ágil y te sientes como Dios. Entonces queremos que eso se note, ¿no? Que sea una cosa que tú digas, uso la...
Oh, bro, I like this.
Uso el hacha y me muevo de una manera muy diferente a si utilizo
I
una
like
lanza,
this.
¿no? Siempre tratando de tener un poco el foco
Jesus
en
Christ, what the fuck is going on? I'm so sorry, there's so many things going on. There's like the visual aspect of the video, then they're talking, and I haven't really mentioned what the lady was saying, but I just want to go back for a frame or two. Can you please take a look at how fucking massive a biter is? This is, for a second I thought this is a razor or something, but they have spikes on their back now for whatever reason. A biter was like this small little creature. Jesus Christ, that's menacing.
Siempre tratando de tener un poco el foco en lo
fuck,
que había en el original, pero como ahora tenemos la posibilidad, ¿no?, de añadirle este tipo de cosas que antes...
We have to talk about if we are more closer to a player skill base or a progression RPG base. I think we are a little bit more close to the player skill base. Stats are important. You need to get enough strength to deal damage to the creatures, but in the end, if you are good enough, you can beat all the enemies with the basic level of combat. What we want with this is like you can...
This is absolutely amazing that he mentions this once more. It's the player skill that, you know, basically defines the outcome of a fight, just like in the original. If that is still comparable to how that functions in Gothic 1 and Gothic 2 remains to be seen. In 5 days we know more. But in general, I think it's really good when you have a game that is skill-based, just like Dark Souls, you know, where people challenge themselves and fight against a boss that is so mighty, and you're just basically, I don't know, like level 1 or something. Is that even possible? I don't know. But you get my thought, right? Shit, sorry. This is also interesting. So diving, we know about this one, is going to be learnable. Climbing will be learnable. Yeah, like the wall climbing. Alchemy. Oh, okay. So they make a difference between types of smithing, like two-handed weapons and one-handed weapons. Okay. That's crazy. Learning points 25 at level 16. Bro, spend that shit. Claws, organs. Were you able to extract organs in the original? Nah. Claws, skin, teeth, fur. It was different from skin. Yes. Secretion. Secretion was in the bloodfly stingers, and you could use it to regenerate mana. Yeah, that was also in the original. Bruh.
Choose where your career, you can do the mix you want. For example, you can be a mage, so you don't need to have the progression with the weapons. You want to pay. You don't have to learn something. You want to learn something.
Oh, was that... What kind of spell was that? Was that the Rune of Death, like the one that you get from Urizel?
Something. You want to learn something.
It looks like it, right?
We are not having these typical tutorial things, and one of our aiming is the player be guided by the game. When you are learning about combat, your teacher will...
Wait a second. He just leveled up.
About combat, your teacher are learning about combat.
Bro, what is this? What's... Wait a second, okay? Wait a second. Yeah, let me dig a little bit, okay? Nah, man. Nah, man. That's it. That's it. I don't know about this one, man. I don't know about this one.
Guided by the game. When you are learning about combat, your teacher will say to you, what is combat? Don't be like, press this button. It's like, okay, you need to change attacks. The idea is the game is playing itself, and also reward the players who want to explore and want to try things.
Can you teach me to become better with a bow?
I guess I could. The biggest mistake almost every beginner makes is locking the elbow on their bow arm when they pull. Don't ever do that. It'll mess with your aim. Also, keep your shoulders relaxed. It's hard, but it will make a world of difference.
Right, the old sound was so iconic. The new one sounds like, I don't know, like you get an upgrade in Age of Empires. Oh no.
Oh, that should be enough for a start. Now, practice, practice, and then practice some more.
For me, a good combat system is one that is very intuitive, right? Very
This is awesome.
predictable what you do and what the enemies does. Even
Okay,
if you
okay,
have
okay.
to try again and again, like you can at the end see and comprehend the whole system, and it comes very natural to you because you've spent time learning their patterns, learning their timings, and also use timings, and you have a wide variety of approaches on how to overcome those difficulties.
In Gothic 1, creature has different style of combat and how...
Okay, let's go back. First of all, this troll here, he's throwing rocks, man.
The very
Look at that.
predictable what you do that is very intuitive.
Enough for a start.
Oh, by the way, Cavalorn, I think he looks quite okay. I like his model.
Now, practice, practice, and then practice some more.
For me, a good combat
at that.
system is one that
Damn, brother, he threw a fucking rock. That's kind of cool.
is very intuitive, right? It's very
And last time I kind of speculated about the hero being able to transform into a golem, but no, it's still summon golem, which is okay, I guess, being transformed into a golem would be cool as well, but summoning a golem is also cool.
Predictable what you do and what the enemies does. Even if you have to try again and again, that you can at the end see and comprehend the whole system, and it comes very natural.
Wasn't
to
Cavalorn
you
like...
because you've spent...
Bro, I hate to use this language, but I always read him like a Latino. I don't know why. I don't know.
And learning their patterns, learning their timings, and also use time.
Yeah, right. It's
You
like
have
a
a wide
callback
variety
to the
approaches
alpha,
on how to
beta
overcome
version
those
of Gothic.
difficulties.
In Gothic 1, creature has different style of combat and how they approach the combat, and we are trying to aim to this also. So, for example, the mole rats are very direct to you, the wolves are more smart and try to surround you, or some creature as the lizards goes directly to bite you. Each creature has a different moveset and positioning, and for example, the main character has these long legs that they perform a different movement faster but need more space for it. And of course, there are creatures that we call like these special prime predators.
Oh,
like
look at that!
Salutis, which has...
Look at that. That's cool. Can you see this? Can you see this creature? They finally added porcupines. That's nice. Thank you, Alchemia, for having porcupines in the game. Nah, man, I'm just throwing a little shade here,
Like the
but
Salutis.
I wish the Shadow Beasts were more inspired by the original 2 games. Shadow Porcupine.
which has a more complex moveset, or the Bloodhounds. And then we
There's
also
the
create some
dodge
special attack
roll.
from some creatures that we
That's
think
nice.
that match with the creature.
What
The
the
AI
fuck? No way! No way, brother! No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Okay.
Moveset, or the Bloodhounds. And then we
No, 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 no. We want this. We want this.
also create sort of
What the fuck?
from some creatures that we think that match with the
This is unreal, bro. It's in the game. They did it, chat. They did it. They did the original Gothic justice. Look at this little fucker, how he flies through the air. Oh, man. When he woke up that day, he didn't think about getting thrown like a fucking rock 15 feet into the air. Like, what is going on, man? This is so awesome. This is so awesome. I love it so much. I like it. Finally, man. There is the cut content. This is the cut content that we've all been waiting for.
creature.
The AI is really something that
Big W,
need
yeah.
to give the player the feeling of like the AI should always feel like it's reacting to what you do and it understands what you're doing. So the goal was to create an AI that feels like you are facing a real creature or like an actual human who could create that. We also needed to add some gamey aspects in it. Like for example, the alert stage is like when you are kind of like close in range.
There's the
that
sound.
They kind of warn you. Right, and they're not going after you if you don't tease them because they have other things to do. The way of like how they use friends and groups, like they are sometimes together with even other type of creatures. They work together and see you as a common threat.
Yeah, that's
Or
cool.
It could be that they actually fight
That's
off
cool.
other type of creatures, and you would see this happening. So
Awesome.
it should feel living. It should feel not like it's a stage that is built for you.
What we
Look at him go! Look at him go, man! He's a fucking boat.
Built for you.
Look at that.
What we are aiming also is to
He's
perform
going.
this gatekeeping for some creatures. The enemies, they are not just
Man, that was so cool. I feel like the lizard right now, it kind of reminded me a lot of a crocodile more than a monitor lizard, which is a whole completely different thing. I don't even know if monitor lizards can swim, but this looks cool. This looks very cool. Question is, where is this? Is this before the new camp? Is this the lake before the new camp? Is this next to the new camp? What the fuck is going on? Where are we?
What we are aiming also is to perform this gatekeeping for some creatures. The enemies, they are not just a fight, it's also a puzzle. It's something that we go also deeper with some creatures, like you have to find a way to beat them. It's not seizing them because you need to solve the puzzle and search how to beat them. And of course, with the armors and all the armors we have in the remake, we want the player to be able to choose which kind of armor work better also against some enemies. For example, you can get an armor with a lot of fire protection and get also some elements to improve it.
Oh, brother, this is so cool. This is so cool. They teased this like a while ago, where they're like, you can customize your shit, your drip. Here we are. And it's not like massive changes, but I really do appreciate this. You can customize it to your own delight. You can say, you know, I have problems fighting golems for whatever reason, so I need blunt, a protection against blunt weapons. This is awesome. This is really cool. New camp before entering the rice fields. Ah, yes. Okay. Before the new camp. Yeah, wolves. I do think they are quite a menace right now. At least when they're running around in packs. What I didn't really understand is what the golem is doing here.
We have in the remake.
So he's like teleporting.
The player to be able to.
By the way, once again, I just want to know what it is with developers nowadays. Why do you put glowing eyes on creatures all the time? I don't know why you do this. Really, I want to know, because I have a trauma seeing creatures in Unreal 5 with glowing eyes. And it doesn't help that I have this trauma from watching playthroughs of a game called Kralon. Oh, gods help me. Beside that, yeah, they are magic, okay? Yeah, that's true. That's true. But beside the glowing eyes of the golem, I think he looks pretty awesome. Would be cool if like right now this golem is somewhere where it's lush and green, you know? Would be cool if a golem would be like in a more like desert environment, that it would reflect that on his appearance, you know, like you don't have the lush green color, you have more like a dust and sand and maybe like very dry roots or something like that. That would be awesome.
In the remake, we want the player to be able to choose which kind of armor work better also against some enemies. For example, you can get an armor with a lot of.
Ah, look, he's got the egg protection. That's a must-have, man. Glowing eyes and dinosaurs. Everyone is the dirty work of Beliar. Everywhere, yeah. I think he has glowing eyes so you can actually see where it is at night. Yeah, sure, but there is kind of this, you know, intense feeling of moving through the darkness and then suddenly see something, you know, jumping out of the bushes right in front of you, and then you're like, you know, like the meme, you know, where it freezes and you're like, oh yeah, that's me. You wonder how I got here? You know, it's kind of cool to be ambushed like this. I don't need to have every single thing to be telegraphed a mile away. This is what I want to call over-the-top game design. I really like the simplicity where it was more like these dull colors and you didn't have these neon lights in the woods floating through the air. I'm not a big fan of that. But this is nitpicking, you know.
Fire protection and get also some elements to improve it. So it's like, okay, we want to give the player the tools to do this.
Bear Puppy, you're right. Accessibility is something that they didn't have in mind back in the day. And I'm all up for accessibility, you know. But honestly, I would treat it like an afterthought, mostly. Because you have to get your priorities straight as a AA studio, not like in Kralon where you like deliver a shit game and then you're like, oh, but at least it's accessible and we have arachnophobia mode. Like, dude, if you would have cut that time that you invested on developing a fucking arachnophobia mode into making the game just a little bit better, that would have been appreciated, you know. That's like the balance that you have to figure out what's better for your game. But yeah, I can see this. But Bear Puppy, what about this? There is a little option. There's a little option when you open your menu and it says accessibility, and then you open it up and there is a list of things that you can adjust. For example, glowing eyes to read your environment better. The enemies from now on will have glowing eyes, so for everyone who's got problems with seeing, you know, you can now activate this. Options, man. Options, we need options. Things need to be optional. That's what I want.
Reading books or just by try to get the point to beat them.
One goal was also to create a system that...
Yeah, it's that. Look, accessibility, you know, it's a stretch. What does that mean? You know, is it like a bigger font? You can see your fucking mouse, cursor, you know, make it bigger, make the font brighter, or for people with, you know, like color blindness or whatever it's called, you know. I get that, but like arachnophobia, just like turn off the game, bro. It's a game, you know. You're fighting a spider, okay, but it's something completely different if there is a spider next to you. I hate spiders. I don't have a problem fighting against them in a fucking video game because I'm aware I play a video game. And if I'm scared of the things that are happening in a video game, you know what? I just turn the fucking monitor off. I do the ESC, you know, escape. I do quit game and I go outside and touch grass. Thing is, I might encounter some real spiders then. And then there is no arachnophobia mode to save your ass. Just saying.
If you as a player really try to force it, you can beat creatures and NPCs that are strong.
Chet, I wanna have your opinion on the lurker.
Can beat creatures and NPCs that are stronger than you, but to do that you really need to read.
There it is. What do you think about lurkers? Please tell me. Come on, boys! We won't move on until I know your opinion about the lurkers. Dum 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 dum. I don't like the lurker. Looks like a lizard. Lurkers are fine. Better than the OG to me. Now it's frog-like. Landros is on point. Yeah, have you seen this? How it crawls and stuff? How it uses its hind legs in this stance? It's pretty much a very mutated frog lizard now.
Stronger than you.
But I have to say, the lurker, I said it last time, was something but for the love of God, I couldn't come up with a new design, a new approach for the lurker, because it looked kind of a little bit stupid in the original. But it was a feared creature, an amphibious, savage beast that stalks you, and you know, the dam lurker, for example. I think this is pretty awesome, and they remind me a little about like the. like the proto version of the frog people from Archolos. By the way, I love the frog people of Archolos. I love these semi-human, wise enough creatures that are walking on two legs, and they're kind of primitive, you know, and have their own culture. Dude, I love that. I found the frog people to be so, in my opinion, they're so gothic. They fit perfectly into the world. I really love them. Anorexic Godzilla. They look like something that would live in the water. Well, I guess
to do
that's
that,
what they
you
are.
really need to read a lot on what they
But thank you for engaging with me, chat. Thank you so much. Now I know what you think of lurkers. I like
do and do the right thing at the right time, and there might be just a very tiny window to do that. But that's, I think, just relevant for like
People
really
the
if you want to exploit the system. And the original combat system, I mean, let's face it, there were exploits, and people loved these exploits because they could just by doing left, right, left, right, left, right, they could deadlock
What the
opponents.
fuck?
We
Look at
totally
that.
discard the idea of stamina. That is something like Gothic 1 and 2 doesn't have the stamina itself. So one of the important parts of this is the speed of the combat and how do you manage. Something like Gothic 1 and 2
Please.
doesn't have the stamina itself. So
This
one of
looks
the
so
important
cool.
parts.
Where is this? I like this, you know, everybody knows the fucking glitch. Everybody knows the glitch
Because they
from
could
Gothic
just
1, you know, where you just could pull your weapon and then walk past the guards and rob the ore barons of their riches. Yeah, it was patched, community patch, I don't know, but in the original game you could just, you know, or strafe walk past them, I don't know. So this is pretty cool. You try to enter the castle and everybody starts sprinting towards you. Look at
by
that.
doing left, right,
There's
left,
a patrol approaching.
right, left, right, they could deadlock
And here they
opponents.
come.
We totally discard the idea of stamina. That is something like Gothic 1 and
So this is cool. This is actually pretty cool. What are these fucking? Are these like? Is this like a hair thing? Like dreadlocks? Looks a little bit. It looks a little bit like from this angle. The troll looks a little bit like a retarded predator, but I like it well enough. I didn't like the original trolls. This is actually cool, and the slam attack's pretty awesome.
2 doesn't have the stamina itself.
Damn.
So one of the important parts of this is the speed of the combat and how do you manage the space. Player has to be very clear the position because it's what makes sense. Like if you have to reach a space and control the movement and how the enemy surrounds you. It's not about locking or targeting the enemies and not. It's the player has to
He just parried the snapper, right? Let me just take a look at it.
targeting the enemies and not. It's the player has to control this space and control the movement and how the enemy surrounds you. It's not about locking or targeting.
Okay, here comes the fun police on my part. I think it wasn't possible to parry creatures in Gothic 1 and Gothic 2. And I know, as I said, you know, you gotta figure it out. Make it too realistic, it's shite. Make it, you know, too fantasy-like, it's shite as well. But I think if you parry, being able to parry creatures is cool, but like an attack like this, you know, where the snapper is jumping at you with full force, you should at least get a little bit of damage. Like just a little bit. A tiny amount, you know? Just a little.
Enemies and not. It's the player has to control this and
Oh yeah, he's blocking.
deal with, okay, now I need to get a movement so I don't target the enemy, or I prefer to take distance, so I stop and just run away, take a space, pick the bow, so take some potions. And we think this is the way to do it because in Gothic, the spacing and how the enemies surround you is very important because in a 1 versus 1 is a very different game than when you, for example, are surrounded by orcs or by ordogs or other creatures, where you need to get this space. So the speed and how you move for us was very, very important.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. So obviously, we're talking about the different approach that Gothic has compared to other games where for example, Geralt of Rivia is very agile in combat in Witcher 3, right? You dance around and all that fancy stuff, and it looks absolutely cool. But in Gothic, it's more grounded, and you don't have all these fancy things. I mean, now you have a dodge roll.
Orcs or other creatures, where you need to get this space. So the speed and how you move.
It's really important what he says, and something that I haven't really noticed that much. It's the space that you keep between your enemies. Also, how you approach hordes of enemies. Like in the original, it was a must to, if there was a group of enemies, you pull them out one by one. So that usually can be done with, I think, field raiders, for example. Other enemy types, they react if, I think it's with wolves. It's the case with wolves. If you try to lure them out one by one, they actually all will come. This is cool because it's like this, you know, it's like this callback to them being, dude, I'm missing the word right now. It's a pack. A herd. Yeah. It's pack behavior, you know. One gets alerted, he alerts the others. It's pretty cool, it's realistic, and it's also throwing you back because you've kind of internalized by then, okay, I can lure out a scavenger or two from that group and I will be safe. And then you try the same shit, you try to pull that off with wolves. Nah, man. You don't try that. They all come, they jump you. That's cool. So it mixes it up a little bit. And also, this is how it was done back in the day.
We think this is the way to do it because in Gothic, the spacing and how the enemies surround you is very important, because in a 1 versus 1 is a very different game than when you, for example, are surrounded by orcs or by orcs or other creatures, where you need to get this space. So the speed and how you move for us was very, very important in the concept of the combat. When we go for the ranged combat, we have the bows and the crossbows. And in the original, the crossbows are better than the bows. Bow is something like also evolves a lot during the game.
Damn, brother, how dirty he shot him in the neck. Look at that.
A lot during the game. Something like also evolves.
Ah, right in the face. I shot Marvin in the face.
A lot during the game. For example, when you start with the bow, you are not good at aiming, you don't deal a lot of damage. When you get more bow skills, you can do faster bow attacks, dodge and move faster with the bow. A rogue, a mercenary, or someone who moves faster, you want to use a bow.
Oh, there it is! Oh, brother! Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm stopping at every fucking frame that I really like, but this is getting me so excited. Oh man, just this little picture here. Okay, take in the visuals. First of all, I love it. First of all, I like the coloration. Yeah, some of you don't like it, but I like it. I really like it. It's really a little bit Mediterranean. It really feels a little bit Mediterranean with the conifer trees. I like the coloring, I like the lighting. It seems to be around noonish, where you have like this golden hour that I was praising some videos ago. Really chef's kiss. But what I really want to talk about is this creature over here, because that is a bloodhound, boys and girls. Let me introduce you to the bloodhound. Oh my god, I love bloodhounds.
You want to use a bow?
Oh my god. Yeah, we've seen some We've seen some concept art, but I want to talk about the bows real quick. So I think in the original, crossbows dealt more damage, but they were slower. Bows dealt less damage, but they were faster. That's like, you know, the drawback. Just as with swords now are the fastest weapon, whereas maces are the slowest weapon type. Which I absolutely love. I love these kind of things. I absolutely adore this. And I wonder if this is the case as well. Like, you train your crossbow skill, and you will eventually get faster, but still, in the end, a bow will outpace the crossbow, which I like, and it should be in the game. I don't know if it is in the game. If you guys have any information about that, let me know.
a lot of damage. When you get more bow skills, you can do faster bow attacks, dodge and move faster with the bow. A rogue, a mercenary, or someone who moves faster, you want to use a bow. The dexterity makes the arrows make more damage. So the idea is, okay, if you go for a dexterity build, you can go for it. You don't need to spend your time if you don't want in a...
It's the same sound, brother. The harpy sound, it's the same sound, and it's like really, really high definition sound, man. Okay, Kai, if you listen to this by any chance, or if anybody who knows Kai listens to this by any chance, hey, consider also bringing back the original Level Up sound, pretty please. Or give us at least, you know, the option, accessibility, use old sounds, thank you. The old sound is a must, man. The old Level Up sound. But this one is cool as well, the harpies.
In the melee combat things. But maybe if you're a melee combat, you want to have your crossbow ready, do the first shot, probably deal with the first enemy.
Oh my god, how much faster are you as a bowmaster?
Or just deal a lot of damage.
I also like how he's really struggling to draw the string, and he's kind of, you know, a little bit tingly. He's a little bit, you know, he's not strong enough. And then
take your sword.
It's so it's these very fluent
a lot of damage, and then
it's like this clear evolution of what you're going through as somebody who uses this weapon. And it's I don't know, man, why don't more games do that? Are developers just lazy? They're like, okay, like level 1 archer, you're just dealing less damage. This is the way how you should do it. You want to get immersed, you get immersed by this. This is awesome, man.
Take your sword and attack the others. There are tools, so they're not one better than the other. It's more like when you need to use one or when you want to use the other one.
You're right, Pat Salt. Like, this is not the way.
Gothic is loved because of all these specific and cool features that are in there. So we cannot just cut stuff because we feel like...
You can inscribe. This is awesome, man. Oh, brother. This is so cool. So scrolls were very limited. You either found them or you bought them, but that's about it, you know. And here we are at the inscription table. I mean, where are we? In fucking Azeroth? Because there is inscription, you know. But inscription, yeah, you can craft your scrolls right now, and it uses a variety of items, a piece of parchment, which is cool, that you will buy at, you know, the mages, I think. And then there is, I don't know what that is. Is that a fur? I think, yeah. Transform into wolf needs a wolf fur and probably some teeth or claws. I can't really identify this. Which again makes scavenging animals mandatory if you want to take the advantage of scrolls here and there, right? That's kind of cool. Landros, the paka! Yeah, he did the chicken sound. I noticed. He did it earlier. Yeah, taking trophies is a must if you're into these things. I mean, I can see like the scroll control, which is awesome. I hope there will be more spells like this in the future, or at least they carry over into the next games, because the type of shenanigans that you can do with that is so cool, man. It's so fucking cool to have that in the game. Like, imagine Corvinus, okay? Corvinus, you're in the port city, and there is this guardsman who's guarding the wheat package, right? The dude, if you're around level 5 to 10, you have problems killing that dude, you know. But now, by chance, you find a scroll control, you activate it, you know, you're doing this one, bzz, 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 and then you just control him and run him into the port, right? Oh, you need his key. It would be cool if you could drop some items from your inventory if you control somebody. You know, you control a guard and then say, okay, he drops his sword or anything like this. Would it be overpowered? Well, it depends. If it's a high-level guard, you shouldn't be able to control him, you know? But if it's like a low-life bandit or something, you know, that should be possible, in my opinion. Dude, control, man. I can't get over this. I can't get over Inscription, brother. This is so cool.
We cannot just cut stuff
Dark Hollow, he's min-maxing again. Yeah.
because we feel like it's underused, because there will always be people of like, wait a minute, I play Gothic in exactly that way and you don't support it anymore. There's so much in.
Wait a second. Did he just take your rune? I think he just took your Firebolt rune. Interesting. He doesn't take anything else.
It's
crazy. Also interesting is that
all these specific and cool features that are in there, so we cannot just cut stuff because we feel like it's underused.
Because he's dressed as a digger, he's dressed as a low-level guy, and he's already got
because
the
there
fire.
will always be people of like, wait a minute, I play Gothic in exactly that way and you don't.
Yeah. This is what I'm actually a little bit hyped for. It's such a minor thing, but where do you get your runes from at the very beginning? Because they said they want to make it more accessible, you know, a mage gameplay, a mage playthrough. We were always struggling. You got to get through what felt like half the game before you could actually use magic, but now they want to introduce it more or less right away, I want to say. But how do you get the rune, you know? Will you be able to craft it as a magician? We already saw, was it Torres, who is wandering the outer ring? Which is crazy. Crazy to think about that. But yeah, in this case, the guard slamming you down, he doesn't take your axe, he doesn't take your bow that you're having equipped right there. He's taking your rune. This is awesome.
Support it anymore. There's so much insane features in there when I just think about like all the different transformations, and most of them were actually not really well embedded into the game or useful. I even spoke with original team members of the Gothic 1 and they said like, well, you know, let's do a couple of these transformations and the rest is like, you know, nobody would care about it. But I'm like, but I don't know, I think it's really cool.
Chat, what do you think about the razors? Do you like it? I'm not going to continue the stream until I at least know the opinion of 5 people about this creature. Do you like the new design or don't you like it? I'm waiting. Yes. People are not quite okay. People are torn. What is going on? Is it a hedgehog? What about those spikes, please? Ah. Yeah, I'm not sure about it. It's okay. But again, it lost kind of the uniqueness of the monster. One could argue, okay, they now have spikes on the back, you know, because of their name, they're razor sharp, and we wanna have a bigger visual identity between the creatures. So a snapper doesn't really like, okay, for real, if you have a snapper and you look at it from 50 meters and you put a razor next to it, you might get confused. You cannot really differentiate it. You know, the veteran eye might see this, but there's not much difference. This model, however, you can read better. There's arguments to be made for both sides, and I'm not really sure what it is. I'm not really sure. Okay. Oh, Delvin, mate, good to see you. That music piece wasn't my own. It's actually a very old YouTube video. There's an old man sitting in a desert next to a cactus, I think. He's playing guitar with a spoon. It's awesome, really awesome.
And I think we should go all in and kind of like do all this transformation and maybe build up on them and like make them more
Okay, this is awesome.
Useful. So that's another thing I'm proud of, that we kind of like managed to pull. So the direction.
Whoa. Okay, a few things to address here. Okay, a few things. When I saw this is cool. This is cool.
Maybe build up on them.
But this made me think of a situation that I had. So sometimes, and this is why I love the jank of the first two games so much. Here's the story of me and Gordon, and it probably happened to some of you guys as well. You're looking for the focus. You're looking for the focus at the cliffside monastery ruins, where you go, where you meet Gorn, right? And long story short, you got to transform into a meat bug, right? And then you got to crawl through the little hole onto the other side. You use the winch, you open the gate, and Gorn comes in. So, but sometimes, it doesn't happen every time, when you play the original, you transform into the meat bug, either then or when you're on the other side and you transform back. Gorn, at least in the German version, he will be completely confused and he's like, whoa, what was that? Like, you know, he's reacting to you becoming or transforming out of a meat bug, which the delivery of the line was, it took me so off guard, brother. It was so good. There's like a comedic genius of these retro games. And because Gothic is so full of potential shenanigans, it's absolutely awesome. And I hope there will be situations like this in the remake. Shit, brother.
Like make them more useful. So that's another thing I'm proud of, that.
Starry, is that true? Jesus Christ, I love that. I love that. Here we can see the wolf running, you know, in transformation.
We kind of like managed to pull. So the direction was always, it should be like the original, but more and better.
In the term of the School of Magics, like we have these three big groups of magic, the player is not restricted just to one spell.
Oh, he's big, bro. He big. Okay, I'm not going to lie. We just had the discussion about the razor, but this thing running at you, holy fuck, man. That's crazy.
One spell or one kind of spells. You can get all or most of the runes if you search for them. Your runes are the tools you have to solve the combat. Like you will use, for example, an ice rune to paralyze your enemies, and then you can cast a big ball of fire. Or, for example, you want to use necromantic spells to rise some skeletons, meanwhile you are doing some area spells from fire, for example. So our idea is, you as a mage will be conduced in one direction to get the spells of your school, but you are able to get all the spells and use them as you want to use it to fight your enemies.
Everything that exists as data content in the game is pre-modeled and
Wait, I
pre-simulated.
missed what? I missed what? Rewind time.
And better.
In the term of School of Magic,
Like this or even before that? This is fine, right? Should be.
like we have these three big groups of magic, the player is not restricted just to one spell or one kind of spells. You can get all or most of the runes
What
if you
the
search
fuck?
for them. Your runes are the tools
I saw it now. I saw it. That's cool. But it's also, it's a little bit comedic.
just to
like,
one spell or one kind of spells. You can get
he's like, let me hit it one time.
all or most of the runes if you search for them. Your runes are the tools you have to
That's
solve the
cool.
combat. Like you will use, for example, a ice rune to paralyze your enemies, and then you can cast a big ball of fire. Or, for example, you want to
This is so awesome that you can freeze enemies in place. I mean, that was the case with Frost Wave, I think. Pretty awesome. But it's also more reliable, I want to say, in the remake, and way more faster. Because you know, taking out a new rune in the first two games, swapping them around is really a hassle at times, and it's much more, you know, there's a certain flow of magic right now in the game, which I like. Also, this fucking fire tornado, awesome.
use
man.
necromantic spells to rise some skeletons meanwhile you are doing some area spells from fire, for example. So our idea is you as a mage will be conduced in one direction to get the spells of your school, but you are able to get all the spells and use them as you want to use it to fight your enemies.
Okay, you get all the spells. That's good to hear. That's awesome.
Everything that exists as data content in the game is pre-modeled and pre-simulated. So each recipe has its value in regards to utility. For example, if it's a recipe for cooking, its value in regard to health regeneration, if it can be used in combat or not, things like that. Also, at the same time, there's an important thing here that, for example, with cooking and alchemy, we are making distinctions. So potions won't be as prominent as they were in the original game, and they will be very useful in combat because they are instant healing. But keeping with the idea of the main pillars of the game, which is really congruence, food or most food you won't be able to use that in combat. You will have these two distinct utility systems, and if you want to invest in cooking, it will be useful because in your hunting operations, when you go outside of the old camp, you explore a bit, you will be using a lot of food outside of combat, and then you will use the potions inside of combat.
That is awesome. I really like this. So eating food in the original game was kind of, you know, I'm out of potions, so I'm spending 3 fucking minutes healing up at max level, you know, eating fucking what's her name? Frida Hilda's fucking fish soup. And the animation takes so long, you know, he's like you do that for 3 minutes straight. So I like it. Food before the fight, it gives you HPS, healing per second. And in the fight, should you take too much damage, you can chuck down a potion, instant heal. I like this. This is cool. So you prepare for a fight before the fight, and during the fight you can have, you know, like countermeasures if things go wrong, actually. Dude, this is awesome.
I want to be better with one-handed weapons.
If you want to focus on combat, of course, you can go very directly to that thing, but we also offer the player a lot of more things. That point is, in Gothic, in the colony, there are more things than just combat. You can improve your diving, you can have the wall climbing, improve as a craftsman, so you can craft more things. Something like I really like from Gothic 2 is the hunting thing, because in Gothic 2 there's a lot of hunters which teach you how to hunt, buy you the trophies, and it's something like we want to expand also. So the player will learn a lot about hunting, and it's something different from the original because will be reasons to do that. Because we want to merge it with the crafting So in the end, the player could
ErgoHash, the Nyrus demo got overhauled quite a bit since then. So it makes sense if you get some HPS, you know, during the fight, you get a little hit, you heal up. Not instantly, but the longer the fight goes, the more healing you receive, sure. But there was something that I wanted to talk about, and it's right here.
also offer the player a lot of more things. That point is, in Gothic, in the colony, there are
This is something that I criticized during the Nyrus demo, because I don't think it was implemented back then. Jumping into the water, you know, you were just clumsily falling into it. But now the game registers that there is a deep enough water so you can dive into it, you know, head first like this. Professionally, like a fucking swimmer. I like it a lot. It's great. And it seems it's part of acrobatics. So you might still fall in clumsily. I don't know. If I read this in the correct way, this might be only achievable, this type of jump, once you learn the acrobatic skill. Not still.
more things than just combat. You can improve your diving, you can have the wall climbing, improve
So about wall climbing, I expressed my joy for this feature. I think it's great. It reminds me a lot of like Tomb Raider, which was a game, you know, from the roundabout same time frame where Gothic was released. I think Tomb Raider was before that. And I do really like this. I like this feature. My question is, or my hope is, that there will be enough spaces where you can find some useful shit up in the mountains. Or, you know, you're standing on a cliffside and you see some cool, you know, little loot down there. Or you see a cave entrance and you cannot jump down there because you would be instantly dead. But then you see, hey, here's a climbable wall. That's cool. It doesn't take away anything. And if most of these paths, or if all of these paths are actually optional, that would speak for it as well, because you don't have to learn it, you know? If you don't like acrobatics, you don't have to learn it. But for people who want to explore and stuff like that, maybe you can find some additional, not just loot, but also world building, a little bit of lore. Maybe you can find, I don't know, give us you know, like a letter, a torn diary or something like this. Oh,
a craftsman, so you can craft more things. Something like I really like from Gothic 2 is the hunting thing, because in Gothic 2 there's a lot of hunters which teach you how to hunt, buy you the trophies, and it's something like we want to expand also. So the player will learn a lot about hunting, and it's something different from the original, because will be reasons to do that, because we want to merge it with the crafting. So in the end, the player could craft some items. So our idea is just give the player the freedom to choose how to spend the points of the skill and how they build their character.
To sum it up, we never set out to copy an existing game in terms of combat. We always wanted to create our own unique combat system that matches perfectly an open world RPG that is intuitively to control. The goal was also to maintain the sort of like possibilities and agency that the combat system of the original offered. We really put a lot of effort into bringing every skill of the original into the remake, and our goal was always, and our ambition, to not...
Just a quick adding a little oh yeah, there we are. Okay, just a little comment about this, a little piece of
combat system of
really nice stuff. I think it was in the very first video that I did. Was it? Maybe not. But I addressed this where I said it would be so cool if you would have like sweeping strikes, where if there's a group of creatures in front of you and they're kind of standing close together and you swing at one, you basically do some damage to the other creatures standing next to your main target. And this is obviously implemented for a time now, and I think it's one of the best combat decisions they could have made. It's really good, because Gothic 1 and 2 was in melee terms so single target focused. This is really opening up some possibilities. Obviously that also made the first two games a little harder when fighting hordes of enemies. Sure, it was way more unforgiving. Not impossible, but a lot more unforgiving. But I like this mechanic, this type of combat. I like it very well. Would be cool if it's just if it would, you know, be possible to have sweeping strikes, AoE damage, once you're trained a little bit, and once you're master, that you apply more damage to them.
The original offered. We really put a lot of effort into bringing every skill of the original into the remake, and our goal was...
Oh, one quick thing about the Minecrawlers, I do think they're so thin. They're really thin. I don't really dislike the spider-like, the more spider-like design, you know. The old games, they were like ant-based, and now they're like spider-based creatures. I don't really mind that redesign that much, but they look so thin. Like small wee boys, small little insects. But still cool.
Into the remake, and our goal was always, and our ambition, to not just bring it there, but to add some added value to it. And in terms of the progression system, we kept it very close to the original because we felt that this is a very memorable and well-working part of the original. And for us, it was important to maintain the same rewarding feeling when you play it. And as you improve your skill, you can clearly see how like the progression works. So give it a fair chance, and I'm sure you will enjoy it. For Gothic 1 Remake, we are now at the end of this making of series. So this is the last one. Thanks for staying with us. Thanks for your interest in Gothic. And thanks for providing very valuable feedback. It was very fun to read through it. We also used a lot of it to make our game even better. You can clearly see, just go back to the very first episode of this making of, and you can see how much we improved the game thanks to your feedback. So see you in the Valley of Mines on June 5th. Oh, and we also have boss fights, but this is something that I don't want to spoil. You have to experience this for yourself.
Boss fights, okay. Okay. Yeah, I let it run in the background. I mute this. I put on a little bit of music. I hope it's not too loud. We're going to talk about this really briefly. This was an awesome video. Very, very informative. It's the last one. Oh my god. Can I go back, please? Where's my mouse button? There's so much going on the screen. I just wanted to go back to this shot. Take a look at the abode of the water mages. It's so high up, man. The cave has become massive. I dig it really. I really do dig it. I love it. I love it, man. Okay, let's talk just a little bit. I was focusing on the video way too much. Of course, there has been a lot of stuff happening in the chat. If you've got any questions, or if you wanted to say something that I might have not addressed right now, you can do that right now. I want to give you a little bit of, a few thoughts here and there. What really surprised me first and foremost was the magic. I am a melee player in most of the games that I play. I just want to be in the forefront. I want to wield a big ass weapon, or a smaller weapon, and I want to be, body contact. That's what I'm doing. And I want to say, I have never ever played as a mage in the Gothic 1 original game. Never once I have joined the mages. But this will change with a remake. And maybe I go back and, play the game as a mage, the original game as well. So, I like what they did with the magic system. It's way more faster right now. It's way more reactive. and it looks really, really awesome. Sure, one could argue about the effects, you know, the particle density or whatever it's called, like the visual effects. I think the visual effects are awesome, like the breath of death, bro, the vape of doom, you know, the vape of fucking doom. When he did that, that was awesome. I didn't catch it the first time. Thanks for reminding me. It looked very, very awesome. So, as a non-mage player, I'm looking forward to a mage playthrough, actually. Okay. Michael Brown. What a cool journey this was. I thought that Gothic franchise was dead, but here we are. Yeah, here we are again, indeed. It's very great to be part of this, even as a very small channel. Seeing this grow, seeing the weird direction it started off as, and then how it developed into, well, more or less this product right now. And I think it was Reinhard Pollice who just said it a few minutes ago, where he said, yeah, we don't want to create like a whole new game, and we don't want to create the same game, but we want to create, you know, like old Gothic, but more and better. And it's a very general statement, sure, but this is what I would imagine of rebooting the franchise, right? More, give us the cut content, and better, improve all the things in the game, from quality of life choices up to, I don't know, the simple stuff, UI, better trading system and all this. Extend where it makes sense, expand where there was lack of content. It's great. Really good. Ergohash says, I pray for the reviews to be good. 3 to 4 more days. Please be reviewed well. Yeah. You know what? At the beginning I said, you know, I'm not really hyped because that's like a me thing. It's like a, let's just say it's a medical reason. But what I really liked, what really made me smile, was seeing Gothic being now talked about in so many other circles. There is like YouTubers that I would have never thought about them talking actually about Gothic. For example, Mr. Matty Plays, like, props to him. He was always like the Elder Scrolls guy and the Fallout guy, and he talking about Gothic. That caught me off guard. Sure, that was awesome to see. There's big magazines now talking about this game. I think I read some titles. I think it's in the next video that we're going to watch. Yeah, it's Game Informer, so almost 1 million subscribers. You might know this outlet. The title is Gothic 1 Remake is the Elder Scrolls competitor you missed 25 years ago. And it's cool to see this recognition of the franchise. This long-lost jewel that only a few people knew of. It was more of a European thing, and it felt like the rest of the Western world was kind of, you know, cut off from Gothic. Okay, Nekuyo and Landrostain, basically the same question. Are you anticipating the release more after this video? Anticipating, sure. A little bit more hype, again, you know, cannot really comment on that one. But yeah, cautiously optimistic I still am. Indeed, I'm certain this is going to be a success, and Gothic 2 and 3 Remake will follow. Gothic 2 Remake Awaken. I find it hilarious that most of the marketing material was showing that clumsy, untrained one-handed melee combat while they had this phenomenal magic effects. Yeah, true. But I get it, it was the early hours previews. Bear Puppy says, I think Alchemia invested a lot of money into marketing. Yeah, rightfully so. I mean, we're not living in 2001 anymore, you know, where your horizon was very limited. Like, for a game studio that was based in Germany, you basically had game magazines that you could buy at the fucking gas station for five what was it, like euros, but also 5 Mark, you know, the German mark before the euro. And then you could get like a little preview with a few with a few pictures and stuff like that. That was the extent of their possibilities, basically. But nowadays, every household has the internet. You've got the fucking internet everywhere you go. It's in your pocket, you know. And now you've got the PR machine, which are an essential part of every studio nowadays. I want to say, you gotta hand it to people who advertise for you, and it worked well for many other games. And why shouldn't they take this advantage, this possibility, and make it their advantage? So that is good. That is awesome. Also, very interesting. I wanted to watch the Hand of Blood video because the NPCs a few weeks ago didn't really react to the animals and the other way around. Reminding you that back in the original, if there was a digger out in the open, if there would have been a digger out in the open and there was a wolf nearby, the wolf would have shredded the poor digger, right? And in the Hand of Blood version, this is why I initially wanted to talk about that and you know, watch it with you guys. Neither the animals nor the NPCs did react. So this is a thing of the past now. They did react. We saw it in the last 30 seconds of the video, which is cool. This was something that I didn't like. I'm sorry that I'm jumping so much. But we are in the Temple of the Sleeper and we have the High Temple Guards, which are basically mummified orc remains, orc corpses. And they made a strange sound, strange attack sound. Pump the volume up, brother. I want to listen to the pain screams of the mummy.
Part of the original, and for us it was important to maintain the same rewarding feeling when you play it, and as you improve your skill, you can clearly see.
Okay. I don't know if you can hear it, but it sounds like a regular orc being hit. The High Temple Guards, I'm pretty sure they are mummies. I just, you know, doubted myself. I was like, are they really mummies? Are they really undead? But yes, they are dead. They should be. We are in the Sleeper Temple right now. Definitely. So, I'm not expecting these sounds from a decaying corpse. I'm expecting a more raspy voice, something like, you know, something like this. Like a chain smoker or something. But he sounds like the temple guard sounds pretty much like alive and his vocal cords are intact or whatever. That might be addressed, but that is again nitpicking. I just was reminded by this when watching this scene here. I'm going back, I leave it in the background.
Deal a lot of damage and then take you.
That was pretty awesome. Yeah, we talked about magic. Now we're talking about ranged weapons. Bro, I think that we're counting my playthroughs as a ranged weapon user. I only need one hand, I think. And that is Gothic 1 and 2. Like most of the time, really, I play melee. It's crazy. But seeing how the archery skill evolves, that looks awesome. That makes me want to run around and actually shoot people in the face with my crossbow. Awesome. Yeah. So, we're reading the chat a little bit. The game is number 44 top seller on Steam right now. The marketing machine really be working. Don't you think the Minecrawlers look like a mechanical robots? Nagvalist. I don't think they look like robots, but I think they used to look a little flashy, if that makes sense, even if they are insects and you usually have this carapace. And I think that comes from their body frame. You know, they were just larger and wider, and that is gone now. That might be it. It's, you know, I always thought that Minecrawlers are very, very interesting creatures. I really like it. Also, you know, there's theories about Minecrawlers and the Sleeper and some similarities. But that's not the point. I think some designs I like, some of them I really can't understand how you could change something so unique, something so cool that people loved over the years, into something inferior, in my opinion. But yeah, okay. I said my piece about the designs in all those other videos. They fix it. What did they fix? I still feel like the AI attacks slow. Am I cooked? They have some sort of delay. Video audio is good, your audio is low. Oh. Okay. I don't like the snapper, man. The snapper is just... Ugh! I hate the fucking snapper. I hate the snapper. I love the biter. I love the lurker. I don't like the snapper because it still looks like in the. It's like, yeah, it still looks like the model from the very first playable teaser. A snapper has this massive fucking jaw. It has no arms, so you know this creature is all about snapping you. And now it's got, you know, these arms. It looks a little bit like a bird, and. Okay, I don't know. Why did you change it? Especially since I want to say, if there is a ranking of gothic monsters, I want to say the snapper is up there. It's probably top 10, probably, because it's very dangerous. Okay, so. Melee weapons, you know, melee combat looks good. This was one of my biggest concerns, but judging by this, judging by previous material, it's much more faster. The responsiveness, they dialed it up quite a bit. It's awesome. Magic looks awesome, but again, this comes from somebody who almost never used magic in a Gothic game. Archery looks also awesome. I think when it comes to the different skill levels, archery is really where it shines. You know, like you're trembling when you try to draw the bowstring. Untrained, you know, you really see like you're trembling. And then next up, you're still not too sure, but you're quicker. And then there is like the master, and you just rip through, brother. You rip through. Yeah, and this is the scene where they fix the AI. That's cool. Okay, so I'm comfortable. I am really comfortable. There are some things that I don't really like that much, but Alchemia didn't make this game for me personally. You know, so I've got to come to terms with the fact that Gomez looks different now. I got to come to terms that there are some creatures that I don't like, but then there's also creatures that I like a lot better. So yes, you know, if I sum it up, I think we will have a good game. I'm anticipating it. I'm a little hyped. A little hyped. Okay. We will talk about the next video, which is from Game Informer. And this will be an extensive shot of questing and running around in the swamp camp. And we haven't really seen much of the swamp camp. So I'm looking forward to see what's going on in the Brotherhood's abode. And obviously this is my favorite camp. Let's dive into it.
These are different games, but like Gothic did kind of beat it to the punch of being like an open world fantasy game. Hello everybody. Welcome to New Gameplay today. I am Kyle Hilliard. I'm here with Marcus Stewart. What's up, Marcus?
Hey, I'm happy to be hanging with the goth kids. That's what I believe the Gothic fans call themselves, right? The goth kids.
I think that's the term comes from this game, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
But more importantly...
Chat, can you see the ore lanterns? Innos, Adanos, and Beliar and the Sleeper be praised. Oh Lord, he coming. Throw your hands up in the air like good old Nut from the sect camp. Pray to the Sleeper. Thank you so much, Sleeper, to bring us these illuminations from a mineral one underground. Oh, those hard-earned stones from the old mine. May they enlighten us on our way to Fortuno to buy some green novices. Amen! Okay, let's continue. I'm sorry. Today I feel a little funny.
I would argue we are joined by a special guest today. We are joined by Dimitri Lapustin, who is Game Informer's one of Game Informer's principal designer. How's it going, Dimitri? What's up?
Hey guys, I'm good. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Dimitri does production here at Game Informer. So when you look at the magazine and you flip through the pages and like maybe you see a feature and you're like, oh my god, this looks amazing. That's Dimitri. Dimitri takes our words along with Lele and Monica here at Game Informer and makes it look like way fancier and way better than it has any right to be. So thank you, Dimitri, for doing that for us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So the reason you're here is because you are a big Gothic fan. Marcus, I'm speaking for you, Marcus, a little bit. Maybe I'm wrong. Marcus and I don't really know this game very well at all. I'm familiar with it. I know it exists, but
they know about, probably, I don't know these people, but they know about Skyrim and Elder Scrolls. Look, I threw some shade on this franchise a while ago, but I'm still convinced that there are so many things that Gothic did better. And now these people crawl out of their huts, out of their caves, and pretend, they always like Gothic. No, not these people in particular. They pretty much made their point clear, how they thought about Gothic. They knew about it, But this is how it feels like. It feels like, the upper class meme where these guys are in Baroque dresses and they look down like a balcony or something, We are the Gothic veterans. We always knew that this was a game that was superb. It was awesome. And we knew it since our childhood. And, well, memes aside, I think it's cool that these people are getting exposed to it. Awesome. What I also want to point out, something that I just saw, if you take a close look to the top, I mean, we knew that they built their little huts and housing spaces up in the fucking trees, but look at that. That's high. That's really high. That's crazy. That's awesome. I like it.
Did not play it growing up. I know it's kind of an open world fantasy thing, and on your excitement around what is the remake here that we're looking at, Gothic 1 remake that is coming out on June 5th,
Oh, brother. Look at that. We got some sweet street signs for the swamp. I gotta be honest. I mean, if you throw me right now into the sect camp, I know my way around. But for new people, especially with all the new foliage and stuff, it will be essential to have some signs that tell you, where are the most important locations here. Because I think I want to say, from the short clip that we've seen until now, that the swamp camp got the biggest changes of all the camps, really. I think there will be the most memorable spots. We saw the temple courtyard right before Iberion's abode, right? That pretty much looks like the original. We saw the platform, the training platform, as you can see, you know, right way. So either we're standing right now before the smithy or a new location, I don't know. But it's awesome to see that this camp in particular has way more changes. I like the original, but I can also see that it has way more potential. Because there's also, I think I showed a few screenshots, or some artwork actually, of the Gothic. You can find those things on the Gothic archive, and there is a lot of the work of Ralph Macinczyk, who was the man who did the artwork back in the day. And there were a lot of concepts that didn't make it into the final game. One of the most prominent ones I have seen, Gothic veterans know it. It was this huge hollowed out tree, and it made it into the alpha, I want to say beta, of the game, and then it disappeared. I don't know why. It's a massive hollowed out tree where the gurus would meet, and it was just cool. I haven't seen it yet in the remake, but again, there are lots of cool things that were cut from the swamp, and man, let's dig in there.
Reached out to the developer, and I wanted to talk to them a little bit, and we have a feature in the issue of Game Informer magazine that by the time you're watching this video, I don't think we've announced quite yet, but the next issue will have a big Gothic feature in it. And Dimitri, I want to know why Gothic is important to you.
Ah, nice. Like I'm also trying to read the lines of the NPCs, and again, the hero is mentioning Nordmar, so we talked about this as well. You know how Gothic 3's world building, or generally, you know, it's a world building thing that they also address things that exist outside of the Valley of Mines, which back in the day they didn't know about this. You know, I think Nordmar, when was it mentioned? Was it mentioned in Gothic 1 or Gothic 2? I think Gothic 2, but now they mention it, you know, it's for world building and stuff, and I really do like it. I really do. It's great. By the way, short question again, please give me your opinion on the tattoos of the Brotherhood. Do you like them? Are you okay? I think I do like them. Okay.
Tell me about your experience with this game.
Face Commander, you might be right. It was in a book. Yeah, you might be right.
What was it like when you played it when the original version came out?
Sure. This was really fun in the past.
Oh, Landros, yes. Yes, you're right. You're right. You're right. Yeah. I think there's like an option to talk about, you know, tell me about the ore or ore smelting. So Ian, or either I can possibly imagine that also Viper has something to say about it, but Ian sounds about right. And I know, or I'm mistaken, that there's also books that mention Nordmar, but I'm not sure.
Because originally I never knew about, when it was out, I didn't knew about this game. I was more into Morrowind, the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind game.
There we go.
And then the friends of mine, they said, you should really, if you like Morrowind, you should really go and check out Gothic. And then I tried, and I uninstalled it like the same evening because, you know, the controls were different, the gameplay was super different. I wasn't able to fight the very first monster I met, and I was really rage quitted the game. And then,
oh, look at that! This is so awesome, man. It's like levels stacked on top of each other. That's really cool. It's like we had 2 levels in the original, but now it's like 3 levels, maybe 4 even. I don't know, but this is. Gothic always had this advantage in terms of world building, where every settlement, every encampment, even if it was a small outpost or anything like this, it felt real. It felt like people can live here. So the world building, the visual storytelling was very strong. It felt like a genuine place where people live, you know, something that developed organically. And looking at this footage right now, I get the same feeling. Bro, this is so cool. Like, if you don't have any space anymore to build a new hut, and you have these massive trees, well, what do? You extend vertically. That's what they do in cities, right? And having this, probably very menacing and dangerous swamp around you, you cannot really build your huts into the swamp, except that one nut, who's called, help me out, chat. There's this, it's like the mud of the sect camp. You can take him with you. He says he wants to go for an adventure, but as soon as, I don't know, like as soon as you encounter like a mole rat, he's like, oh, I'm getting some help, you know, and then he runs off. Shaky, sharp. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Like people will, like my friends were laughing at me for that, and they said like, okay, maybe this is like less of a mainstream game, and I should really.
This looks so awesome. I think I will get lost a few times in the remake. This looks awesome. What I also like in a typical jungle fashion, you know, there's daylight, everything, but the foliage and the leaves, they're so thick. It's the canopy of the trees. It's so thick that there's so much darkness and shadows on the ground, which is awesome. Shrike, that's his name. No, Shrike. That's who I'm talking about. Balnetbeck, he's like in the safe zone of the swamp, I want to say, next to the wheat collectors, the farmers. No, but Shrike, he is out there in a fucking hut. Like, he's surrounded by swamp sharks, and he's a lowly novice. What's going on, man?
Pay some attention to how to learn this, and it turned out to be a really awesome. Good game.
I also like the lanterns, like the ore lanterns. Okay, we talked about that. It's a meme at this point, but I also like these type of lanterns. They I don't know, but they seem to be inspired by those paper lanterns that you can find in more Asian countries. I'm immediately thinking about Japan, probably China, maybe. I really like it. I love it. It's great for world building. It gives you a very, very, like a very unique type of, you know, illumination. It's really, really awesome.
And I really sucked me in.
Yeah, weird things happened out there in the swamp. Do you know that one fucking side quest in Red Dead Redemption, there is also like this weird lonely hut out there in the swamp with this dude living in it? He knocks you over. Strange things he does to you, but oh god, was that a horrible quest, man. Terrifying.
For months.
So it's like one of those situations where like, so I think we've all had this with different games, especially if it's like a new IP, where you're so put off by it.
You're right,
sometimes
Nikuyo.
You're able to get back into it when you kind of meet the game at its level, where it's like, oh, I thought this would be similar to the other thing I played or something different, and that's why I didn't like it. But if I like, okay, let me play it for what it is, and then that's when it clicks. It sounds like that's what you went through.
Yep. It's also not super forgiving game. It's really tough, but it was worth it.
Yeah, I mean, my big thing for it, like learning about it as I did to sort of write this feature and talking with you a lot, Dimitri, and even going back and like watching old gameplay footage of the original, which by the way came out in America only like a few months before Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, which is kind of like, you know, the starting line of Elder Scrolls being this open world fantasy game. Like these are different games, but like Gothic did kind of beat it to the punch of being like an open world fantasy game. And the thing that I learned about Gothic is that it's really simulation focused. Like it does not really, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dimitri, but it does not really seem to treat like your protagonist character as like the main character in a way, right? Like you're just kind of existing in this world where everyone has their own stuff going on, and you're just also trying to do your own thing.
Yeah, sure. This is one of the aspects that made Gothic great, but I'm also, you know, questioning, like, it seems like a lot of franchises rely on the storytelling of, hey, here's the promised hero and stuff, and it works. In some cases, it works really well. We've got Star Wars, for example. You know, it's the Chosen One story. First, you got Luke Skywalker, then there is Anakin, and it's basically the Anakin storyline. Sure, Morrowind was about kind of the Chosen One, because you are, what it's called, the Nerevarine. You are kind of the embodiment of an old hero, so you kind of, you know, a hero of the past. And I like both ways, but oftentimes it seems like creating a world that seems to exist outside of you, the player, and the player character. I don't know. Is it too complicated? I really don't know from a development standpoint, because I much prefer these type of storytelling devices where you're just like, yes, eventually you will be someone, but at least at the beginning, you know, nobody knows your name. In the same vein, there is, I want to say Witcher, because people know the Witchers in the universe, but they're kind of despised by the people. They don't want to associate with you unless there is a monster problem. And you're not a hero per se. Like in the grand story, sure, but when you visit settlements and stuff like this, you're basically the exterminator. You know, you search for the fucking cockroaches, for the nest, and then you cull it. You purge it. I don't know about Oblivion. I don't know about Skyrim. I should know about Skyrim. Oh yeah, it's the Chosen One story. Sure, you're the Dragonborn. Oh man, I found, if you compare Gothic 1, for example, like the storytelling with Skyrim, I gotta say that Gothic beats Skyrim 1,000 times, really. I mean, because I think the Chosen One storyline of Skyrim is just so bland. It's like you've heard that story 1,000 times before. Gothic, however, nah. This is also from zero to hero, sure, but you know, the focus is on the world, at least in the first chapters, and I think it works very well, and that's what people love about it. It's great.
Yeah, it's super anti-hero game, so like you're not the one, you know, you're not coming here like everyone's listening to you, like just follows you, but it's
like
more
people
of like,
can't function without you.
Sure, you actually can, like, you know, stand and see people come and go and do their own thing, and they don't care about you, and you have to do stuff to kind of gain their trust, gain their attention as well.
I think that's why we didn't click. That's why it didn't become a hit in America, Dimitri, is because like as a
Nikuyo, yeah, you're right. You're actually right. You are the chosen one. You still play. You become the chosen one. You know, kind of, because well, you know, Zardis is talking about the prophecy and stuff like that, and I always liked that it was kind of vague, because I personally always loved the idea that you're just a dude. You're just a fucking dude, and some people are speculating, oh, is he working for Innos or Adanos or Bilia? Maybe you're just doing what you think at that moment is right. Maybe many people are overthinking it, you know? Maybe you're just the dude who is a who's a maker. You know, you want to tackle the situation, you want to get out of here, so you got to do what you got to do. You know, and that's the beauty of it. You could interpret that he's working for, I don't know, so you bring balance to both sides. Okay, that's good. But I like that there is no definitive thing going on. Beside that, I like it in Gothic when the gods are obscured, when they're working in the background, when everything is kind of hazy, when there's a lot of speculation. I like them to be mysterious beings. When you take Gothic 3, for example, you know, and you bring the chalices to the statue of Innos in Nordmar, and then like the Heavenly Father speaks to you, and it's like, yeah, here's a god speaking to you. That is too fantastical to me. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't really know too much about Morrowind, so I can't really go in there. Dude, I'm really looking forward for Skywind. That shit I'm going to play. I always struggled with playing Morrowind on modern systems because you gotta study the way of implementing mods and using them when you want to play that game. It's a fucking nightmare. Like, installing mods for Gothic is way more forgiving. Way more forgiving. Yeah.
Americans, we gotta be we have to be the hero. We have to be the most important thing.
Yeah, Americans, we have very bad main character syndrome.
Yeah, you might be right. Maybe it's really, I'm sorry that I'm talking that much, but maybe it's really a cultural thing, you know, that some cultures tend to love the chosen one storyline, and there are other cultures where it's more like about the world that you're living in. But there is a demand for this in America. I want to say these guys are probably from America, and there is a demand for this as well for these other types of games. So that's why I'm happy. I really find it awesome that Gothic now gets exposed to the distant lands.
Yeah, where you were when you played it, you know, is just a different.
Oh, look at that! It's the hut. It's the hut. The hut that's kind of decrepit and forlorn. So, yeah, we're actually walking out into unknown territory. I don't think this is part of the active sect camp.
Mood, maybe, I don't know, and maybe I'm way off here.
There will be no NPCs
for me, in
here,
first
right?
place, it was like different in a way you interact with it.
Oh, okay.
So while other games, they kind of guide you.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. It's him. It's a preacher in the swamp. Okay, yeah, because it looked so run down and like a shack. I always assumed that this was like a lost outpost out in the swamp, but here we have Baal Netback, and yeah, sure, I can get it now. Nobody wants to talk with this lunatic. So he's out there on his own. He's smoking the reefer. He's puffing away.
Through from the very beginning, maybe to the whole, like to the complete end. They have like guidance. They have mini maps. They have some sort of like how to know what to do next. And Gothic, you're just thrown into, and you need to pay attention to what people tell you. You cannot just skip through dialogues and be happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, and talking to the team who's working on the remake, which is a team called Alchemia Interactive, it said it was important for them to sort of maintain that, right? Like, it is not a game. It is a remake, right? It's not a remaster. It is not the kind of game where they put fancier visuals on top of the game that already existed. This is, in their terms, like, this is a proper remake. They basically started from zero and are trying to recreate that original experience. And they talk to me about things like, yeah, like the mini map. They're like, there are opportunities for us to make the game friendlier to the player and things like that, but they were like adamant. They're like, but we're not going to do that. Like, that's what the experience was, and we want to try to maintain that. Although they did tell me that one element that they've added is that if you sit down at a bench, apparently your character will think about what they should be doing and sort of have an inner dialogue of like tried and kind of reminding you about things you can do. So they did little things like that.
Okay, this is cool. First and foremost, yes, there is almost no hand-holding. Excuse me. There is almost no hand-holding when it comes to the original games. There is, visual descriptions of where you need to go. It's like, oh, there's a ruin in the east. It sits on top of a mountain that overlooks the whole village, the whole valley. And you're like, where could that be? And you look around, you're like, oh, this place over there looks like you can see the whole valley from there. So I like that they were adamant about not implementing these things. I really do love it, because you as a human being, you're not that dumb. You don't need all those fancy UI things popping up, reminding you where to go. And hey, look there. There's an item. Look here. Here is your quest marker and another marker that you can set up in your map. No, man. This kills immersion. And I really hope that other developers will see something like this, that they see that the players are engaging more with the world by whatever metric you can measure this, but that you're running around, that you're really looking at the game and you're like, okay, he just described the way I should take, and oh, here we are. This is the way, That is awesome. This is what I want to see. And I hope that more games do something like this. Yeah. A great design, really great design. I gotta get up for a fucking second. I just need some water. We're continuing right away, but I'm thirsty as hell. It's like a sauna in here. It's warm. I'm sweating. It's way too much. So please, bear with me just for a second. Have a nice conversation while I'm gone. Okay, back again. Let's continue.
But like for the remake, they're not adding all the modern conveniences of typical video games. Which, I mean, if they want to recreate that original experience, like,
oh yeah, Landros, this is actually what I'm hoping for. That we go back to something more immersive, where you need to use your brain a little more, in terms of map reading or reading the landscape and shit like that. I'm really hoping that we will see more games like this. And to be fair, since they announced the remake, I want to say it's my experience that I heard more and more Gothic likes pop up. Those games names elude me right now. I think I want to say there is like a game called Sword Hero that somebody's working on. It's a very small team, an indie title. Some people on the Gothic Reddit. Fuck Reddit, by the way. Fuck you, Reddit. They were kind of advertising for this game. Sword Hero, then there is Drova Forsaken Kin, I think it's called. It's like this pixel game. It's like 2D. This is not my type of game, but it should be very much in the spirit of Gothic. And yeah, many people want to make games like Gothic, which is fair. Yes, do that, please. Come on, let's go.
I mean, that's what it should be,
Ash and Steel,
right? I mean, that's what
sure.
you want, right, Dimitri? As someone who is, I'm guessing, is very excited to play this remake.
Fuck it, I gotta leave again. Give me 10 seconds. back in the game, brother. Gotta open the door a little bit. Really sweating my ass off here.
Totally. I mean, I was hoping when I heard about it, I was hoping before even watching any footage or any videos about it, I was hoping that it will be as tough, as difficult to go through as it was like the original one. And yeah, but even the original game was super popular for small little details that you will not probably notice on the first playthrough. And that's why we original Gothic fans love it a lot, because you can play it over and over from start to end multiple times, and it's actually designed to be so. So every time you learn more, you notice more, and enjoy it even more.
And this was one that you played multiple times, like for sure.
Totally. I did a full playthrough, maybe just once. I played the second Gothic like 7 or 8 times, like from start to end. But this one I played also multiple different times, because you can really, the way you choose the character to build up defines how you play it.
I was gonna ask about the protagonist. Are you every time we've seen the conversations, the protagonist is just labeled as hero? Like, does your protagonist like have a name, or is it like a Dragon Quest situation where they were just the hero, and that's about it?
It's literally, he is a nameless hero, and he's often like regarded like that. He, based on the story, he doesn't know who he is, and I don't want to go deeper into that. I'm like really anti-spoiler guy, so he's nameless hero, and yeah,
it
is RPG protagonist with amnesia. I think we got it.
Yeah, it's a staple. He's also a prisoner, apparently, which is
no, he's got no amnesia. He knows where he is. He knows who he is, and he's about to tell the people multiple times that it becomes a running gag, right? He always gets cut off. He always gets interrupted. Nobody knows his name because they don't let him finish his sentence. That is, okay? So, yeah, dude with amnesia, not really. And even in part 2, he doesn't really have amnesia. He's just robbed of his skills, you know, by being half dead, you could say.
It's like a kind of a funny connective tissue to Elder Scrolls as well, because you usually start as a prisoner too, which is, it's so funny that they both like and landed on that in a weird way. I don't know. That's very strange.
It's one of those weird like you know, you see this in Hollywood a lot when like every now and then you get 2 movies that come around at the same time that are very similar premise, like an Armageddon and Deep Impact hitting the same summer or stuff like that. Of just like, there's no way they could have known what the other one was doing. It just sort of like,
I mean, it's kind of because I see Rizzo Bro talking about this, and they just have this conversation. You know, the name. It's actually it's cool, but it's also so funny that you're in. I mean, you just arrived in Ardea in Gothic 3. You slaughtered through the orcs. Gothic 3 is horrible, by the way, but just imagine then you're standing there. You have a brief moment of rest, and there you are with your friends, which you got to know in the Valley of Mines, whom you had adventures with in Gothic 2, you know, and you know these people and they trust you and all that, and here you are in Myrtana, and you're, you know, standing at the campfire asking yourself, where is Lester? But yet nobody ever really came up with the idea of asking your name. It's crazy. Look, I don't want him to have a name. I want him to remain the nameless hero, because every name you could give him would be wrong. You could call him Hans, it would be wrong. You could call him Jack, it would be wrong. Anything would be wrong, you know. And giving him some mysterious background, being the fucking son of Robar or anything like this, or the chosen one, the reincarnation of one of the gods, or the balance bringer, or whatever it is. You would alienate a lot of fans. It's just, keep it simple. He's nobody and he's everybody. I think at times it's like with Half-Life, right? With Gordon Freeman. Like, who is Gordon Freeman? Yeah, there is a certain backstory attached to it, to him, but at the same time, he doesn't talk. He doesn't express his feelings because you, the player, you are Gordon Freeman. There's a little bit of background story about that character. You know, he's a physicist, theoretical physicist. He went to Massachusetts Institute of Technology. He went to Innsbruck. He got to know Isaac Kleiner and stuff like that. But in the end, you know, Gordon Freeman has the personality that you're making the definition of what he is. Do you kill your fellow scientists? Are you honorable or whatever? It's not really the case in Gothic, but I think there's some parallels that you could draw. You know, the nameless hero is the embodiment of us, and he doesn't need to be more. There could be a few hints here and there, you know, hinting at something very hazy, stating nothing definitive. Let's continue.
Happy coincidence, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's call him John Gothic. By the way, where is John Gothic?
It's funny that you mentioned
he hasn't approved this video yet. I'm a little bit shaken, actually. I don't know if I can release this.
That because this is like one of the points of similarity, but it's also one of the biggest differences, because in Morrowind, an ex-prisoner that was being released and brought to Morrowind to integrate in real life, as far as I remember. And here, especially the Gothic 1, is like everyone is a prisoner here. It's essentially a magic barrier was made to contain the prisoners and make them, produce this magic ore. And then there was a revolt, and everything went a bit differently than expected.
Yeah, and
I don't like the sounds that bloodflies make. I like when it's just the buzzing, the aggressive buzzing intensifies. I don't know. Have insects the capacity to make any noise? But again, realism, is it fun or not? But I don't like those noises.
Seems like talking to the team.
It's like at the beginning of the game, like with so other creatures as well, when you hear that buzzing sound somewhere and you're not even level 5 or something, you better get running, man.
That like there are changes, right? The biggest is going to be visuals, right? Like this looks a heck of a lot better than the 2001 experimental open world fantasy RPG, right? Like they have beefed up the way it looks, but it was important to them that they said that like they maintain the story and things like that, but they do have original writers who worked on the Gothic 1 back to add new things and rewrite things. The orcs apparently are much more fleshed out this time around. Like you can like learn the language, which my understanding was something you couldn't do in the original. The thing that I thought was interesting to talk with them about, which again you can read a deeper dive feature on it in the next issue of Game Informer magazine, is they were talking about remaking any game, and remaking this game in particular. Like they did not have the option for any kind of shortcuts because they wanted to maintain that original so specifically that like if it were a completely original game, maybe they would hit some kind of hurdle and they would be able to design around it or like make a change or like we got to cut this element of the game, it's just not working. They really strongly felt like we can't do that here. Like we have to have everything. It seems like what they're doing is almost exclusively additive, right? Like they have the original game where they didn't really cut anything, and then they're adding extra content, which kind of explains why they've been working on it for something like 6 or 7 years. Like this has been a huge undertaking for Alchemia to remake the original Gothic. And I almost got a sense of like light frustration almost talking to the director about like how because the game has so many interlocking systems and characters that react to other characters being in specific places at specific times, that like even just the smallest tweak of like, well, we want this character to be over here to be able to like give this dialogue or something like that just would have ripple effects throughout the rest of the game. That just seems like really would be really difficult to manage. But
exactly.
Yeah. Do you think? I mean, do you get that
I
sense
bet.
from like even the original game, Dimitri, that it was like everything affected everything in a way that was kind of hard to understand?
I wouldn't say like it's affecting everything, but it's more of like the world is living, and it's not like everything is built around you as a player. You know, it's not that you can just come one place and expect the NPC be there just because you was told it will be there.
Yeah.
And they have their own routines. They are in different.
I'm guessing just a quick question right now, but I think he's on the quest, you know, to get the weed, right? He's still on that quest. Feels like he's doing that quest for almost 15 minutes. It's like you've got to kill the blood flies, you know. And in the original, it's very localized. The threat of the blood flies, you can see almost every blood fly that you need to kill. And here he's running around in the bushes, man. He's looking for those flies, and he's really hunting them. I do appreciate this.
Parts of the map at different time, but I heard that the Alchemia, they did a really good job here on like even leveling it up, because for example there are 3 camps on the map, and it was, you see it here on the video, you see the guy going from one place to another. It was assumed in the original game that they go from one camp to another, but you cannot really meet them in the between. But here they actually move around the map, and it's so cool to see people.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it was really ambitious at the time, and to sort of.
I mean, it was possible to make NPCs walk around the colony. We see it with the 2 Templars. Who is the fellow? Was it Gornadrak? I think it was Gornadrak who, with his mate, is delivering the secretion of the mine crawlers from the old mine to the sect camp. So it was surely possible, but due to time constraints and, you know, being very limited in terms of how much data you could use. I mean, that was a concern back in the day. And, you know, nowadays, like a game has 200 gigabytes or something like this, nobody bats a fucking eye. But back in the day, you had to print that shit on a fucking CD, you know, and that was very limited. So that game is old, probably older than some of my viewers. I don't know. But times have changed, as Garrosh Hellscream said, or times change, and now they're able to do it, and they should make use of it, you know. When there is this quest with Dusty of the old camp getting to the swamp camp, you know, you bring him there, of course, sure, but also people wondering about the place in real time, like hunters from the new camp moving out. Aiden, for example, is one of the hunters of the new camp, and he is stationary, I think. There is a mod that I've played, World of Convicts, Welt der Verurteilten, where Aiden is wandering around the colony, which was very, very interesting. And I think we will see way more of these situations.
To recreate it is similarly ambitious in a different way. What were we going to say, Marcus?
Yeah. I was going to ask Dimitri, when you played this game originally, did you ever try to just follow an NPC throughout their day just to see, like, where do they go? Like, what does an entire day cycle look like for them?
Totally, I did. And it was not as exciting as it would be here, because they would usually really stick to their like small location within the map where they operate. But it was really helpful, and it integrated in the gameplay as well, because, for example, if you need to steal something from their house, you just need to wait either when they leave the house and walk away, or maybe they are asleep at the night, and then you can, you know, sneak in and take stuff.
That's funny. Yeah, and the combat, which we saw a fair bit of, is like third-person action, but I guess it's very. And again, you're here, Dimitri, to explain this game to us so I understand it better. So I'm sorry if I'm like, is this how it works? Is this?
Oh, what I really like, first and foremost, the effects of the barrier and the water the ocean right here. That looks amazing. It's beautiful. They said they would be doing something like this a long time ago. You know, the barrier, the physical barrier interacting with the surroundings. Very cool. What I also like is like this redesign of the coastal area near the swamp camp, because it almost looks like a river delta. Is it that? Is that the right river delta? Yeah. And you see those streams emptying into the ocean. I really like this.
Explain this game to us so I understand it better. So I'm sorry if I'm like, is this how it works? Is this how it works? But like, it seems like it's very, the way they talk about it's very directional based, right? Like you're coming in from like left and right and above and below, like it's like sword combat. And they were very specific about resisting the urge to sort of, again, modernize it too much and like try to, like they specifically called out like,
bro, the palm trees they're actually cool. They're actually nice. I like it a little more. I mean, come on, you are actually in a swamp. The climate down here it's way hotter than in the rest of the colony. You could assume that the new camp up there in the mountains, I want to say, or next to the mountains, it's colder. You've got the fur on the armor pieces, you know, and down here the armor is just very revealing, I want to say. Even the Templar armor, you know, there's like your upper body is free. You run around a little naked. So it makes sense that the vegetation is a little different. I'm okay with that. It's not that there are no palm trees in the Gothic universe. I think even if Gothic 3 is shit, but hey, Verant, yeah, it's a desert. There might be palm trees wherever water is. Well, there were palm trees in Gothic 3, sure. But I don't mind that. Bear Puppy says, they should have toned down the walk back. It's as fast as walking forward. Yeah. I noticed that too. Probably tone it down just, you know, a little bit. Tormund says, Vertigo, what do you think that the game now takes place during summer rather than autumn like in the OG? Ah, man. You know, I had my fair share of criticism regarding the lighting and stuff like that, because that is ultimately what, you know, makes up the atmosphere. And yeah, seasons, sure. I'm not sure about this. I always felt like if you want to put me down on the season, when does this game take place? Gothic 1, I would have said in the late summer. Just by looking at the trees and, you know, some of the leaves are falling and the kind of lighting, I don't know, it's just a general feel. That would mean that Gothic 2 would probably take place in the early, you know, like Gothic 1, late summer, early autumn. But that would mean that, you know, late autumn would be Gothic 2's season, which I'm not really content with, because everything looks so summery. Summerish. I don't know, but I'm with you. I was really craving for those colors, those golden hues. There's this very specific feeling, and I want to say there are some shots in the remake where it's not always like this right now. There will be dynamic weather. You will have the very, very dark. You will have the dark nights, and you have, you know, the darkness. When thunderstorms arrive in the darkness, there is even less visible environment, basically. But then you also have like the callback to this golden hour, where you have like the I don't know, like the afternoon or something, where everything seems to be bathed in these rays of gold. This is what I'm longing for.
You know, from Inspired and Dark Souls and stuff like that, how they were like, oh, we know that's popular right now, but that's not what we're trying to integrate into this game.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry if I butcher your name. Marcin? Good call, yeah. Jarkandar. That's it.
So they are a really big challenge here.
Bro. What's going on with Viren? Look at him. Look at him, man. Holy shit. This brother smoking the kush, man. You know. Look at... The longer I look, the funnier it gets. Look at his face, man. What's wrong with your face? He's really, really, really out there. It's like the lights are on, but nobody's home. Brother is really up there.
Here, and it was probably one of my biggest concerns finding out about this remake is like, what will they do with the, you know, the combat mechanics? Because the original game has a really, at the same like clunky, but really, really addictive game, like combat mechanics. And it's not just the directional, so it's like the different moves that you can trigger from like different ways, but it's also really super kind of time-based, so you really need to time out your moves one after another, so it kind of turns into nice combos. Not just hitting the same button as you would do in some other games.
Yeah, it looked much more methodical and sort of slow-paced by design, which is cool for an RPG.
Yeah, kind of like, I guess, more realistic.
Exactly. So I was about to say this, it looks more like a, you know, recreation of this medieval, you know, combats that you can see in real life, and it's also like slow, really kind of step through and attentive.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, in the last video of the combat, I forgot about this. So we gotta see. Chat needs to help me out, please, for the love of God. Swords, axes, and then we saw one-handed maces, sure, but then we had two-handed weapons, swords, axes, and then they showed us pole arms, right? Will there be two-handed maces? Because right now, I'm trying to think about it. And there are no two-handed maces, right? In the whole of Gothic. That's a shame, man. That's a shame. I would really like to play with a big fucking hammer. Oh man. Would you like to see big hammers? Two-handed hammers? Big old hammers? Hammering away?
Yeah. I think the other thing, I follow the remake kind of like off and on, but one of the things I do know about it is how closely the team kind of worked with the community, like the fan base, to kind of make sure they were on the right track. Like they are, more than maybe any other remake I can think of, they were very like transparent with the development of it and make sure like, hey, are we going too off track, or do we need to kind of like get the train back on the rails? Is this like too faithful? Is it not faithful enough? Like they even released that what was it? You probably talked to them about this, Kyle. The like playable prologue that they put out like 2 years ago that I believe is still available on Steam. That you
Wait, Christoph, are you sure? Innos Hammer Gothic 2?
You can just download and kind of try out. I was fascinated by that approach of like almost like treating this remake almost like a crowd-funded project, and I of just like, hey, like, tell us whether or not we are getting this right. Does this live up to what the original game was? Or are things we can clean up? Or is there things that are maybe too off base? Like I found that like really fascinating with this remake.
I'm so thankful for that approach, and I believe the community as well, because the original community is super picky and particular about, let's say, what we like about this game. And the developers, they knew about that, and because they actually, you know, it's like the original game was more than 20 years ago, and they were those gamers who played that original game as well, so they knew this as well.
Yeah.
And like, okay, we want to be in touch with community. We want to make sure. I think they even told that in.
Okay, real quick, Delvin, you're actually right when I think about it. But only to a certain to a certain extent, because the palm trees, they are secluded in subzones. You find those palm trees only in the swamp camp, or let's be honest, only at the coast of the swamp camp, probably. Yarkandar, sure, Pirates Base got these palm trees. But in generally, I'm with you. You need the visual identity, definitely. One thing again that I just didn't really realize. We're talking with Kor Kalam. His HUD looks so much different, man.
An approach of like, almost like treating this remake almost like
this, like, okay. Fortuno is here. He's handing out the weed, right? So he is in the general area where Kor Kalam is. Okay.
Like a crowd-funded project, and I of just like, hey, like, tell us whether or not we are getting this right. Does this live up to what the original game was? Or are things we can clean up? Or is there things that are maybe too off base? Like I found that like,
oh, this looks like a proper alchemy lab. There's so much shit going on. Not just 2 alchemy tables. I really like it.
Really fascinating with this remake.
Also, what the gentleman here is saying, that Alchemia stayed really in touch with the fans. It's so awesome. You've got some developers who try to stay in touch, but most of the time they only do it for outer appearance. You know, it's like, oh, we're staying in touch with the player base. If you take a massive company, for example, like Blizzard, for example, I'm kind of, you know, into World of Warcraft as well, and they cut so many people off from communication. And when something goes wrong, like it goes so often wrong with World of Warcraft, you know, you get this so fucking, it feels like a generated response, you know, that they pump out every time when there is a lot of bugs in the game or something like this. They're like, oh yeah, we should have communicated better, and we are not up to our standards. It's like this PR shit that it's like how lawyers talk, you know, this corporate speech, and I hate it with my guts. What I really like when you have Alchemia, for example, they're not at that point of being so big, you know, compared to Blizzard or Rockstar or whatever. They don't have this corporate speech. So it's pretty much honest. Do they think about what they say? Probably, sure. But when you get to a certain you know, like popularity, and when your studio is big enough, I think you have to follow through with rhetoric and training. You're getting trained on how to speak to the public and shit like that, and that takes away from the humanity. It's not your baby that you create, not your, you know, you're developing this thing that you love, but it's this product that you manufacture. And this is what I hate. And whatever Gothic will turn out to be, I really cherish the moments where the developers themselves, or through the community management, aka Timur, communicated with us fans, very, very avidly. They were really listening to the people, even if there were things that they didn't really like. That you know, fans that had weird ideas or something like that. You know, you listen to them, you're like, okay, you think about it. You maybe implement it or not. This is what I really, really, really do like. It's a passion project, not just for them, but also for us. And yeah, you can fuck it up big time if you just say, yeah, I know how it's made. I know how this thing should go. No, man. You're going to consult your fans, you know. But at the same time, I know that fans are fucking they are, you know how we are. We are very, very picky at times. There's people who would have taken, the original playable teaser as it is and would have said, hey man, that's a cool Gothic, I'm going to play it. And there is like idiots like me saying like, no, this and this and this and this and this and this and that is wrong with the game. You gotta change that bitch. Fans can be very annoying, and I think it's also needed to say that not every fan idea is a good idea. There are many ideas that I have that are not good. I mean, look at my latest video where I'm trying to restructure Gothic 2, Many of those ideas are probably so far off to you guys that you're like, this is a load of horse shit. A steaming pile of horse shit. And you're right, It's a balancing act, is what I'm trying to say.
I'm so thankful for that approach.
Nah, Delvin, that's okay, brother. We all have our vision of how this game should feel and look, and that's okay because everybody experienced it in a different light, so to speak. And that's all right. I'm not saying, your opinion is invalid or my opinions are invalid. I'm just saying for the developers, it's nice to have feedback, but you cannot realize a game for every person out there. That's not possible.
I believe the community as well, because the original community is super picky.
Now go.
And
Dekuyu, you're so right. You just have to take a look at some of the, or let's say many of the modifications. I love the modding scene, really, but I do not play every mod because I know that there will be a passage, and a passage that's so fanfiction-ish, so full of unbelievable fanfiction, something that's so there's such a departure from the original, that I cannot enjoy it anymore. I played, for example, I think it's called Dark Mysteries. I'm not sure. It's a Gothic 1 mod. You get to the old mine and suddenly, the old mine is its own faction. And that's where my brain turned off, where I'm like, I'm done with this game, because why would that be? The old mine is the mine of the old camp. It doesn't make any other sense to have your own faction there. Ian has this throwaway line where he says, I'm the boss here. I've got the responsibility and I know my shit here. The ore barons don't know jack shit about mining ore. They don't know about, mine shafts and edits and stuff like this. I know about this shit, so I'm in charge. They rely basically on me. I'm the boss here. That's what I get. But I think some fans then interpret it as, oh, it's its own thing. It's not the mine of the ore barons. Technically, it is the mine of the ore barons, because they are in power. Then there's, of course, New Balance. Talking about fanfiction, bad fanfiction, I can't get through. I played this mod actually 2 times. One time back in the day, and I was disgusted. And then the second time I played it, and I was disgusted even more. And then, after thinking about it, like right now, I'm even more disgusted with myself that I actually played through it. Now that I think about it. Because Dark Mysteries, I didn't finish it. And then there are good mods, where people really think about it and they don't take it too far. You've got Archolos, which is this whole new world. But somehow, I think it makes a lot of sense. The freedom that they took really fit into the lore. But then I take a look at Returning, for example, and then there's like, oh, there's another god, and he's called Stonos, the god of stone. And then there is the Outland, this realm that is existing beyond the physical and material world, where you can go to, and there is like these elder scholars that are completely mighty and stuff like that. I'm like, bro, this is not Gothic. I don't know, man. Support beams and shit.
Particular about
Dark Mysteries was made by a bunch of teenagers for real. I had some fun with it, and it's a messy blend of fantasy. Later in the game, you get stuck in an underground wonderland. Yeah, I haven't played that much. I played to the part where, and it was right after encountering the old mine faction, where a comet or a siege weapon fires a projectile into the Valley of Mines, and then there is like this crater, and you got to move in there. That was the moment when I stopped. It was like I was fed up with this new faction, and then there is like, you know, whatever happened there with a siege weapon or a comet, and I was like, bro, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Play that shit without me. I like it. I like it that the community is active, and I don't want to take away the fun that people have with it. But sometimes you write mods, and you're just so. I think it's when you don't really have people who push back on you, who say, hey, your dialogues are way too extensive. Gothic is not like that. Bring it to a close. Deliver the information, be on point, you know. I am this and this character. Who are you? I want you to do this and that. You know, that's Gothic. That's the so-called Ruhrpott charm, where most of the people don't beat around the bush. They come straight to the point. And that's what many mods cannot deliver. They're inhaling their own fumes. They get high, and they write these long ass dialogues, like exposition where no exposition is needed. And then on top, of course, you've got fan fiction that is bad, but then also you've got like people who voice those characters, and they don't know how to voice act, so they voice act like they think a voice actor would actually voice act. Does that make sense? Bro, it's so hot in here. Let's move on.
Let's say what we like about this game, and the developers, they knew about that, and because they actually, you know, it's like the original game was more than 20 years ago, and they were those gamers who played that original game as well, so they knew this as well.
Yeah.
And like, okay, we want to be in touch with community. We want to make sure. I think they even told that in one of their videos, that they want to make sure that original fan of this game, they like it, the remake, and that will make this job like well done for them.
Yeah.
It's weird to think that that's a community that, on average, is like in their 40s now.
Yeah, dang. We're all getting old,
Sure.
Man. Yeah.
I mean, as someone said, that they played this game with their dads, and now they can play the remake with their sons.
Yeah, that's true.
And daughters, of course.
Yeah, and that's not unsettling at all.
Hey, yeah, welcome to life, Marcus. I don't tell you, man.
The march of time.
Yeah. But yeah, so Gothic 1 Remake, which is its proper title, is coming to PC and Xbox Series X and S and PS5 on June 5th. And yeah, I'm pretty optimistic about it. As a game that I did not play, I'm curious to sort of see it under this new light, you know, and like sort of get an opportunity to experience with like contemporary visuals and little modern gameplay tweaks. But Marcus, thanks for being here. And Dimitri, thank you so much for walking us through Gothic. I assume you're very excited for the remake.
Extremely. Thanks for this opportunity to see it. And yeah, just let's keep doing cool stuff.
Yeah, cool. All right, thanks for watching, everybody.
Damn, brother. Damn, that's it, Game Informer. That was actually nice. It was actually pretty cool to see the whole swamp camp. What they... Again, when... It wasn't really that interesting what they actually said, because it was like talking about the game from an outside perspective. We are more like insiders. So we want to... You know, we are interested in the nitty-gritty. We're interested in the details, which they only briefly touched on, you know, combat and stuff like that. But that is why we watched the making of before. And many of those recent reviews and playthroughs and all of that, they're very general, and I don't really mind it that much. I mainly watch those things here in the stream for the visuals, so we get to explore the world a little better. But yeah, it's only 5 days, brother. 5 days until release. Can you actually believe that? It's been a long road. Yeah, so we've been streaming for 3 hours right now, and I think we make sure to come to a close kind of soonish. I want to talk to you guys a little bit. Maybe if you have a short video that you want me to watch, we can do that as well. It needs to be Gothic related if it's kind of fitting into the whole Gothic remake topic, you know. Ah, there he is. Here's John Gothic. He's approving the message. That's nice. Ah, here's somebody. Is that a world first Gothic 1 remake swamp camp footage? You should push that detail more. Yeah. Definitely should have done that. Listen here, Vertigo. You're gonna play the whole game and amuse us. No time to have a life once it's out. Saw someone that played the preview for 30 hours? Is that so? I've seen something in my feed. PC games. I cannot find it. Oh, that's a nice one. Oh, Neon Knight. Let's take a wee look at Neon Knight. Oh, this is also nice. This is one of my favorite characters. Obviously, it's Gilbert. Not like my favorite characters, but my favorite side characters. And it's made by Corines Pictures, a German channel. So if you want to learn some German or want some good content, he's always got nice videos explaining like the obscure lore and obscure characters. It's really, really awesome. So let me close this. Oh yeah, I think you can try to paste links. Just put it in the chat. By the way, I think I should open up a Discord server for people who watch this channel in time. By the way, real quick, because hours ago somebody asked me if I'm going to play the remake. I will play the remake. My internet connection is kind of shit. So it will take a while to download that beauty, but then I will actually stream. So I will give you official notice, but the plan right now is to stream Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and maybe Sundays. But not Wednesdays and not Saturdays, because I have to see my girlfriend sometimes. And I'm also practicing with my band, so, and we are in the middle of creating a demo, so you know, there are some things to do, and but there is also, you know, I wanna enjoy the remake, and it's everything is crashing down on me right now, all those different things that I want to do in my life, but we're definitely going to play it. And I am going to excuse myself right now. I will address this once we're actually playing the game, right? But I did some Let's Plays before I uploaded a Gothic 1 Let's Play or a playthrough on my channel. And obviously, because I know the game, I was talking a lot, right? But I bet my ass off, when I play the remake, I won't be that talkative. I will listen more, I will watch more, I will be in awe. And then there will be passages where I talk a lot, because I'm so amazed probably by things. So if you expect me to be like this high class, 100% all the time entertaining streaming dude, you might better not watch me. I'm going to be honest. This will be the first time that I will play something blind and that I will actually stream a game. Because I pre-recorded my Gothic 1 playthrough, so just keep that in mind, you know. If you want, like, high-octane action gameplay or anything like this, better watch the bigger and professional YouTubers. It's not just the time given to you because I want to play that game. You know. Yes. Okay. Blowing up, I don't really care about that, man. I've got you guys in the chat. I really have grown to like you a lot, and I'm really happy to have you here. And I want it, you know, I want it to be experienced like I would play it alone almost. I don't know. It will be a very genuine playthrough on my part, because here in stream I make fun and stuff like that, but I think my emotions will be very raw for the, you know, could be positive, could be negative, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm going to stream this, but I will announce it a few days before. So you can plan around that. Time will be, I'm kind of aiming for 7 p.m. CET. So that's where I'm going, when I'm going to play it. And of course, the good old question remains, what camp will I go first? And I think because it's like poetry, it rhymes, like George Lucas once said, a very wise man once said. I think I will go for the same route that I went for as when I was a kid, when I was a very, very young teenager. And then afterwards, we're having more playthroughs, actually. And I don't want to spoil too much and hand out too much information because I hate it to be a... let's check this. You know, I don't want to be an announcement lord. An Ankündigungslord. No, but lately I'm working on some videos regarding Gothic 2, actually. One I've already put out there, which is my restructuring. But I also want to play Gothic 2. Sure, I want to play it with some mods. And this is all content which I'm going to stream beside the you know, the meta commentary, which will be in scripted form. I think that just makes more sense, because pre-recording a playthrough, I don't know. I think there is more joy in streaming and really finding out things with you guys at my side. Okay. Oh, that's so sweet of you, Pansalts. We all prefer you do you. That's why we're all here, actually. We like your style. Thank you, man. Maybe I will be busy playing myself, but it's fun to drop in sometimes. Yeah, to drop by sometimes, sure. I will definitely be hating on Gothic Remake on my own, says Delvin. Delvin, I expected nothing less. I feel a little bit bad for you because things have gone in a different direction. Judging by the few words that we've exchanged, I feel kind of bad for you. But I also hope that we will get mod support in the coming months after the release. I expect that there will be day one patches and fixes and all that, and then there will be, I don't know, maybe a balancing patch like a week or two ago after the release, and then after that I don't know. Would be cool to see a mod kit where people get their hands on all the stuff. That would be awesome. And I think, I mean, they said it's kind of hard with Unreal 5 to get a proper mod kit working because the engine is a little. I don't understand it. I'm no developer, but that's actually a very big negative when thinking about, hey, what kind of engine can I use for my Gothic remake? You know, just the mod compatibility alone, the function that it's harder to create mods would turn me away probably, or would make the decision a little harder, or very hard. But hey, if we get mod support, all those things that we don't like, that people don't like, there will be texture mods, there will be armor mods, there will be, hey, you don't like the faces of certain characters, this is like a Gothic remake, but with Gothic OG faces, or something like this, you know, or bring back original ore lanterns, or whatever. And I'm hoping that we will get the mod scene to live up to its glory. I mean, it's not dead. There are still mods in development, and we're still waiting for Archolos 2.0. Dude, I want to get my hands on that one. I've got a feeling, I gotta be honest, I think we hear some more about the 2.0 in the coming months. I feel they are waiting for the remake to release. And once the dust has settled, that might be the point where they release the complete Archolos Chronicles of Mutana thing. I don't know. It's just that modders often have a very weird view on how Gothic should be. Yeah, you're right. We just talked about that. We just talked about that, and it is what it is. Modders are just people, and most of the time mods are developed by a very small team or by just one person. And again, it is like it's like Star Wars, okay? So Star Wars, you made a fucking banger, then the whole world knows you, and you're working on the prequels, and at that point you're a larger than life figure yourself. You have become the man behind this juggernaut that is Star Wars, and nobody in the room dares to address that you are making mistakes because you are the man. Obviously, the scope of modding and stuff like that is something completely different, but I think the notion that you need to that your thoughts and your designs need to be challenged by people. That point stands. So somebody should have addressed glaring problems in the Star Wars prequels, just as somebody should have addressed some problems in the many mods that I talked about. You know, does it really make sense to have a fourth god, for example, in New Balance, or does it really make sense to have this? I don't know, this old Mayan faction. Does it really make sense? Hey, I know you like the idea, but really, does it fit into the lore? I don't know. You need to be challenged. That's what I'm getting at. And when you're alone, and you're working on a creative process, I don't know about you, but you can get the it's like tunnel vision, you know, where you've got blinders on, and you cannot really escape this scenario and take a step back and try to look at it from a different angle, because you're so deep into it. And that's happening all over the place. But if you've got a team working on something, Chronicles of Murtana, I think one of the reasons why this modification is so good is because they challenged each other. They had a general direction, but then also people said, you know what, I'm thinking about this storyline and this quest. I don't really think it's in line with what Gothic is and should be. So we're going to rewrite it, or we're going to cut it, you know. Whereas lone modders out there in the basement, you know, they write their fan fiction and they don't see anything wrong with it. How could they, you know? But that's what it is. Some people like these mods, and that's cool. I love that these guys are doing the mods, really. Even if I don't like the mods, that's not my cup of tea, but, you know, other people like it. That's cool. As far as I know, modkit for Gothic Remake is not coming on release, but maybe someday, but definitely moddable. I don't know, internet is very critical as it is. In gaming especially. Yeah, sure. Like, bro, you ask 10 people, you ask 100 people, 100 people will give you a different opinion on Gothic. Just Gothic alone, you know. Or politics, or everything is so divisive. And this is why I respect the people behind Alchemia so much. Because if you deal with such a fan base like we are, you know, we can be very... I mean, I see it with myself, you know? I make a general statement, at the same time, I'm kind of going against this general statement in another example, you know, for example. Okay, here it is. I like the Lurker redesign. It looks pretty much very different from the original design, right? Like, they've taken a rough idea of what a Lurker should be, because a Lurker in the original definitely doesn't have features of a frog. Then I'm taking a look at the remake. Look at that, it's a little crab. Wheatley crab. Wheatley crab. Then you take a look at other stuff that is getting redesigned quite heavily. For example, Gomez, in my opinion, it's got redesigned pretty heavily. He lost his unique facial feature. And then suddenly I'm on the fence. And then I'm like, how can this be? Why did you change this man so much? Moments before I was like, glad that you changed this model so much. You know, there is no straight edge to my thinking. It's different from case to case. And if you've got a fan base made up of fuckers like me who don't have a straight edge, where from case to case these things can change on a whim, well, you have a problem, you know. And then you just design how you feel things should be designed, and then people are still not satisfied by them, by those changes. And I do think, you know, they had a lot of headaches about certain decisions in the remake. I think one of my biggest anticipations actually for the remake, something that I hoped would make it into the game, was, for example, the Orc City, the underground Orc City. For those who are watching who haven't heard of it, well, in the original, during the original development of Gothic 1, they planned to include a whole real Orc City, which is underground. And you can still kind of access it in the base game right now. It's kind of buggy, it's kind of glitchy. You can get in there, there's a loading screen, there are no lights or anything like that. But the layout of this Orc City, of this underground Orc City, and a little bit of the design, stuff like that, was made by the original developers, just as the abandoned mine right at the start of the game. And I always wanted this to be part of the remake, you know, the Orc City, and I had my own vision of why that would be useful in terms of gameplay, in terms of chapter progression and stuff like this, you know, and it would make sense in my vision. But I think there is no Orc City. There is the Orc Enclave that we've seen so many times now, but sadly no underground Orc City. This is what I'm sure of by now. We don't know for sure, but it is what it is. So, you know, fans are difficult. I'm hesitant to use the word toxic because I hate that fucking word. I also really hate when people call out hate speech and stuff like this. You know, this is... I don't know. If you love something like we do love Gothic, you're very critical of things, you know? And fandoms are usually composed of people who really do love shit. What a surprise, you know? And again, when you love something, you have big opinions about it. That's why you're really sad when your wife is having an affair and she doesn't love you back anymore. It's, well, because you're feeling so shit right now because you love her so much. If you wouldn't care, you know, you wouldn't care. If she wouldn't mean so much to you, you simply would be like, live your life and don't care and smoke a cigarette and carry on, you know. But we love it. We love it. We have strong opinions about it, and that's just natural. That's what's going on everywhere on the internet. And we have our own little fucking echo chambers where we amplify our opinions, or but when we confront, or when we get confronted by other people having different opinions, no, you know, it's easy that we clash. Speaking about fandom, speaking about politics, everything. But we are going off the rails right now. We're going off the rails on this crazy train. Rip Ozzy, the man. So let me check on the chat real quick, and then we bring it to a close. Blah blah blah. We already had this. I'm convinced Forsaken Gods and Gothic 4 were made by Goblin modders. It was Goblin modders. Like people sitting in a cave with Windows XP, creating mods in the darkness. Yeah, might be. But Forsaken Gods, wasn't it actually... Dude, I think Forsaken Gods was made by an Indian studio, is that right? Dude, I played this one time. I started this game, and it was just so fucking annoying. It was like made by somebody who was told the rough idea, what Gothic is, and then it's like, yeah, create a game. Oh my god. Oh, here we go. Here is it, Arcania. Yeah. Okay, let's read a little bit. Nekuyo says, I'm on the same page with you on the Lurker. Lurker is always were my favorites, but I like the new designs even more. Sure. Yeah. I think I said in last video where there are like certain situations. There's the certain game. Yeah. Let me tell you about this situation. You're going back to the Valley of Mines in Gothic 2, one of the best moments in gaming history, right? When you go back and you hear about Garon tells you, you know, there's like dig sites all over the place, and you gotta find out about the ore production and stuff like that. And then you come across, on the way to the new camp, there is a secluded little cave, and there's two diggers, and they escaped from the nearby dig at the old mine, probably, I think. And it's, his name was Curvo, I think. And he's talking, you know, he's sitting there on a bench, and there's this other dude, and he's like roasting a scavenger at the fire or something. And they're like, no, I don't want to go back to the dig. You gotta get, you know, there's no way you can get us back to the mine and stuff like that. And you're talking a little bit with them. You're like, hey, why don't you just go, you know, why don't you just leave for the pass and leave the Valley of Mines? And then Curvo says, I think it's Curvo, he's like, there's not 10 horses can get me out of this cave, because out there they're fucking lurkers, and I hear them, and they're scraping, and they're making these weird gurgling noises, and it's really this stayed in my brain up until now, you know. And it's like, yes, lurkers are terrifying creatures if you think about that. And you hear them, and they're scraping, and they're the way they breathe and stuff like that. Yeah, lurkers are terrifying, brother. They are, and I think they did them pretty much justice. Okay, let's move on. I think we would have heard of the Orc City by now if it were there. Exactly. That's my fear, but also the realization, you know, that's just the real situation that we have. There will be no Orc City. The original Gothic is a type of game meant for a very specific type of characters. I'm kind of afraid of what the fan base will become now that it gets a wider attention. This is also a big fear that I have, because more attention and more influx of people also means change. Because rarely developers have the balls to really, you know, just get on with what they're doing. A good example, what kind of studio does that? They give a shit about what the people think, is actually From Software, the Dark Souls creators. They just do their thing. People are like, hey, how about make the story a little more accessible? Miyazaki says, fuck you. It's everything is so cryptic by design. Either you like it or you don't. If you don't like it, have a go. It's the hard bosses. Hey, can we have like a difficulty slider? Can we have an easy mode for the gaming journalists? And Miyazaki is like, no, it's all by design. Either you can do it or you can't do it. And with this stubbornness, with this staying true, well, they actually created this whole genre of games and gathered a huge audience. Elden Ring was huge. They make a fucking movie out of it. If after Demon's Souls, Miyazaki or whoever was the lead on the team would have said, yeah, okay, we're you know, we're listening to the fans and stuff, and we give it a difficulty slider, and then the game became a cakewalk, I think they wouldn't do a fucking Elden Ring movie right now. But they went through. They had a vision, and they created that vision. And they stuck with it, you know. Of course they made changes here and there, but the basic thing, the basic anatomy of those games is the same. You're playing the same fucking game over and over again with a different coloration, and it's cool. It's good. It's good. It's simply good. Dude, I'm awaiting the next fucking From Software game. And I hope it's something along the lines of Elden Ring and Dark Souls. I really like those settings. I haven't played Sekiro or Armored Core, but again, this is the best example for sticking with your idea, sticking with your original fan base, and eventually word of mouth will spread and new people will flock in. And this will be the people, mostly, that actually like the same shit that you created, you know? This is a game meant for them. So I have also a little bit of angst, a little bit of fear that too much popularity might change the franchise, as it did back in the day. You know, Gothic 1 was kind of the underdog, but then people liked it very much. It became this awesome underdog game, a cult classic. Gothic 2 already changed, and then you had Gothic 3 where they were like, yo, we wanna grab those fans who are basically interested in like Elder Scrolls and those type of games. We gotta change our game to fit those expectations, so we open up to another market. This was the wrong approach, and you know, you just need to take a look at history and you can see that it didn't work out. So just stick to the formula. Keep it that way. Outsourced to India. Yeah, Forsaken Gods. Damn, brother. Risa Bro says, it's a natural fear when something niche becomes more acknowledged. It'll be fine, I think, and will bring more perspectives. Sure, at the same time, I'm also, I've grown tired of many people coming into fan bases and then changing them. That's why I say, hey, gatekeeping is not, or shouldn't be like seen so negative. I say gatekeeping is necessary to not dilute the waters, to not dilute the essence of what your game is, because if you've got more and more people who play your game but actually do not like the game and they want it to be changed, and this is why I made the video about World of Warcraft actually, because you know, you've got the hardcore World of Warcraft fans. They play since fucking Warcraft 1 or 2 or 3. And then you got the people coming from Final Fantasy, actually, the MMO. And then they're like, oh, I want cutesy fartsy hats and shit. And I want big ass cats I want to ride on. And I want huge, nice elven dresses and fairy wings and all that kind of shit. Bro, you're destroying the fucking game. Nobody would bat an eye if you do it one time, if there is one shop item that you can buy. But no, what they do, they shoot the fucking bird. You know, it's too much. It's simply too much. And that's why, you know, I like that the game is getting exposed to more people, but you don't necessarily need to bow to these people and change your game. It's crazy, I know. It's a little harsh to say this, but at the same time, you know, many franchises have turned into something they shouldn't have been turned into. Now I'm looking at what was it, Baldur's Gate 3, Fable. I mean, Fable isn't out yet, but it also looks kind of bleak, you know. Okay. No way! No way! Is that Totokam in my comments? In a live stream, a dream has come true. I will take my mobile phone. I will take this device. I will open my calendar. And I will put it right there so I will remember this. Can you see this? Can you see this? There it is. I put it in my calendar. I put it in my calendar. It's Totokam. He's here. He's actually huge in the Gothic community. He's everywhere and nowhere at once. He's like a phantom. Totokam, do you have anything to share? Got some thoughts? You're very elusive. Okay. Yeah, Delvin. Thanks for visiting the stream. I always enjoy talking to you and having you here. Obviously, the Gothic remake will take some time now that it's about to be released on this channel, but I won't stop talking about the other stuff as well. And after I'm done with the Gothic remake, we will definitely go back with more theory videos. Also, there is a lore series which is still left undone. It's far from finished, but I did a lot of news and commentary in the past 2 years, well, because of the Gothic remake, but the other stuff is not forgotten, so... Pansalts, thank you so much. Yeah, probably. I tend to digress when talking about these things. You know, it's like one little thing and then comes the next thing, and suddenly I'm talking about like existential, an existential crisis and survival of the human race. Nikuyo, our community is loud and stubborn. Yeah, sure. Riso, bro, I see a point on gatekeeping. Yeah. Yeah, you know, think about it. Think about it. You gotta keep your house clean, bro. You wanna know who's coming in, you know? If you invite people to your house, you know, and suddenly they don't like your fucking wallpaper. They say, oh, well, I like other wallpaper. Bro, but I moved in because I like this wallpaper, you know? And then they try to change it, and, well, What else? On the other hand, Mike Hoger said Gothic 3 was only 20% finished and still used a placeholder combat system. I always imagined a fully realized version would have been more like a much larger Risen 1. Matt, do you have a source for this? Was it an interview? Was it like a video, or was it in text form? I'd really like to take a look at this. Mr. Mike Hoger is very, very elusive, and I believe this. It always seemed to me, or like retrospectively, it seemed like it was as you said, like an alpha or a beta version, or an early beta build, actually. I don't know. But it sounds about right. Mike Hoger is the mastermind of Gothic, yeah, sure. No one else, by the way. And if there is other people trying to, you know, reap what Mike Hoger and Stefan Nühl, for example, the original 4 people, what they have created, you know, damned he be. I'm looking at certain people who created a very, 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 very subpar and mediocre asset flip that came out a few weeks ago. I'm not calling names, but I will probably make another video about this. My dear friend Korga, German content creator, he made a very detailed video about this subject. I'm intentionally leaving out any names, but you could probably guess who I'm talking about, you know. Oh, brother. Mike Hoger is the man. He's the father of Gothic, okay? Nobody else. He's the Gothic creator. If somebody tells you it's somebody else, he's lying. Okay. Totokam says, I've been playing Short Shot daily for the past year and a half, therefore I haven't given Gothic 1 Remake any serious thought. Fair enough, you know. If you find fun and joy and other things, well, do that. By post Gothic Remake, this is Delvin, I rather meant your take after you played fully. Oh, okay. Oh, what my conclusion is to the Gothic Remake. Yeah, I'm definitely going to make a review, so to speak. Yes, a review. I will make that. But first, fun. And I will take notes actually when playing, you know, and collecting my thoughts and being more or less detailed with a review and, you know, my personal experience and how I liked it. Okay, Totokam says, Stormshot is the real and true Fallout or Gothic multiplayer game. I don't even know what that is, brother. Gotta look into it. Thank you really for commenting. I'm so baffled by your, you know, by your presence. Usually I find you down in the comments and then you're very elusive. Imagine if Corvinus gets full of doctors and engineers from... Here we are. You baited me into saying this. A politically loaded comment. Yeah, you know. You gotta be careful nowadays with what you say. But yeah, it is what it is, right? Okay, Matt says, oh, about 2 years ago I went through a phase of watching all of his interviews. I believe he said in one of his interviews in Poland, but man, I can't give you the source off the top of my head. It's okay, it's okay. He did a lot of interviews and they are all, they can all be seen on the Gothic Archive. It's a very extensive site with all the old stuff, and I used it in some of my videos. There's even like 2 videos about diving into the Gothic Archive, and there are many interviews with Mike. Actually, the creator of the site sat down himself with Mike and talked about many things, and it's sad that you gave the source. Brother, I think like links are deactivated in my chat. Is it by default like this? I also saw that some messages got retracted, and I think this was done by the users. I have no moderation here. I'm the moderator, and I do not moderate. If you want to say something, say it, but please be civil. Oh, is that the final this famous video where he appeared in Poland? Yeah, okay. Where he was on stage. Yeah, okay. I really want to get in contact with Mike. I really want to talk with him. No, it's not visible. Now it's visible. Yeah, Meetup 64 it's called. Okay. I think I have the video. I downloaded it a while ago, actually. I'm gonna watch it. Yeah. All right, party people. So, we're just hanging around right now. 3.5 hours, and it's still fucking hot in my room. I want to go out. I want to breathe some fresh air, and then I want to sit down and do something else. There was a video planned that I wanted to to release in between the release and now, but it's too massive, and it's not up to my standards to release it, you know, prematurely. So you have to wait for this. Maybe we are going to do another live stream before it drops, the remake, and once it drops, we're going straight in there. Once again, 7 o'clock, all days except Wednesday, Saturday, and sometimes Sunday. Okay, but you will hear from me. My dear people, it was a very nice and cool journey with you, discussing all types of things, all different aspects of the game, be it lore, be it, you know, all the changes, character designs and monster designs and all that, and we finally are 5 days away from the release. And it's awesome to go this journey with you guys. Well, I maybe see you before in another live stream. Maybe it's a more, you know, like we did in the last hour, where it's more like, hey, we're just talking, we're just, you know, asking questions and answering and stuff like that. Maybe some more obscure Gothic subjects, or maybe something completely non-Gothic related. You know that I can go on tangents, and I can digress quite a bit, so we can do that, yeah. But for now, I wish you a very, very, very nice and lovely evening. I hope you guys are doing well, and sleep tight, my friends, and awaken. Awaken. Bye!